shadows gather where the truth once stood. A kingdom of confusion carved out of falsehood. Body walks through the ruins like a prophet reborn. A voice wants in fire, a light dark is gone. The chaos watches with an all-seeing glare. Guardian of reason in a world unaware. When the overlord stalls at the edge of the frame, the faithful rise up, they already know his name. I'm here to resurrect the second coming of common sin. I come to wake the sleeping, the church will bring the fed. No hurdles, no illusions, no hollow in the bed. He's here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Misled, thinking truth from the wreckage, raising dawn from the dead. Every word is a weapon, shot men declare, exposing every shadow we pretend not to fear. And the overlord marches with the suffering command. A beast of judgment, the mortal chemist dead. On his growl rings through the silence of the night. The loyal understand, tripping keeps the balance right. I'm here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. I'm making the chaos of found with
Welcome back to the party, everybody. This is Morty, and I am your host, Lutch, aka the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Everybody hit that like and subscribe. You know I would do it for you, and let's party. Welcome, and oh my goodness, shout out to David starting off hot with the $2. Thank you so very, very much. Of course, every donation comes with a treat for the overlord. Thank you so very, very much. And of course, that makes you the new sponsor of the stream. Thank you so very, very much. Who else we got in the building? We got Lone Wolf Income. Welcome. Speaker of Purity. How you doing? We got, I don't know what that says, but welcome. We got our boy, King Nirvana. Good to see you. Control, Alt, Delete. You got illegals eating our dogs and cats, while the elites are eating babies. Unfortunately true. We got Melted Mind Media. Well, then I'll be expecting some strong opinions from you, sir. If you guys are not familiar, we are talking about Kyla, a.k.a. NotSoErudite, who was, I think as somebody said, in the Destiny sphere at some point. And I don't know. I asked you guys in the poll how often you guys watch Timcast, and I used to watch it every day, or when I was driving more, I would listen to it in the car more often. But it's kind of become one of those things where it's like I catch it when I catch it. So I don't know exactly how long. I don't know how long she has been on the show, but from what I've listened to, she definitely brings in that break in the quote unquote echo chamber. I'm not saying that it was an echo chamber without her, but in the same way that I've always talked about how Ian Crossland, the long-haired dude, if you don't know, on the show, where he's kind of, out of left field and says some really dumb shit. I've always said that it's really good that he's there because of, the same reason, that it breaks up the monotony of this is what we think, this is what we think. They argue with each other and stuff, but, having a very different opinion, I think really elevates the show. He said it's one thing to be in an echo chamber, and this lady coming on and lying about being a liberal when she's obviously a socialist communist. Tell us how you really feel. How does it feel to be an absolute Sigma male? Is that what I am? I'll take it. It feels fine. All right, so clearly you guys have some strong ideas already, so let's dive right in. As always, if you can enjoy the video, please do let me know.
For sure. The mandate of the corporate media right now is to buy podcasts, to absorb them into their infrastructure and put them on the front page of their streaming services. Duh. Look at what's happening with CBS. Look what's happening with TikTok.
Very true. Nobody has a fundamental philosophy, no principles, just positions. Welcome.
The play is... The machine state wants the narrative control back, so they're flooding YouTube with AI content to suppress independent commentary and channels. They will all get very small, they'll still exist, but they won't have a big impact on the general perception of what's going on in the media. Then you're going to need to reshift the political parties, so you can have, I would describe it as a Kyla Democrat Party, still kind of on the left, but more reasonable when they have a conversation, trying to make sound arguments. I respect that. But the weirder elements of woke and all of the weird gender stuff is going to slowly be pushed aside, and you're going to get a Tulsi Gabbard that is like moderate.
Oh, okay. So she's not like a new regular. I wasn't sure because I'd seen a couple episodes in a row that she was. So this one is from 2 days ago. This one's from 2 days ago. But yeah, I saw some clips from the other, the other episode she was on. And, not necessarily that I agree with everything that she says, but she forces that's why I put it in the title, the necessary pushback, in order for, the other people in the room to not just have the right opinion, but to really lay it out there.
Be pushed aside, and you're going to get a Tulsi Gabbard that is like moderate Dem with some social policies, but the strategy is when she comes out, she will not say Trump is bad. She will say, I believe Trump did his best with the information that he was given.
He's talking about Tulsi Gabbard.
Respect him. I'm not going to speak ill of this man. He worked really hard. However, I think this, and again, the play is they're going to restructure the narrative machine. The conversation.
Shout out again to David. Where is it? David Gillespie for the $2. Very, very, very much appreciated. Don't forget, guys, every donation comes with a treat for Morty. And if we hit that goal, then I've got push-ups to do. And it's been a while. I'm getting puny, guys. I need your help. And it is a peanut butter night. So if we hit the goal, Morty gets, the special peanut butter. If you know, you know. If not, you definitely want to see it. All right, that
play is they're going to restructure the narrative machine. The conversation is meant to look more like it did 20 years ago and less like it did in the 2010s. They don't want culture war insanity. They are trying to bring it all back together. So again, let me put it like this.
I mean, this is a very broad question. Is there a specific context? I mean, it depends on, like, would you rather somebody a sadist or a nihilist? I mean, I guess on the most basic level, I would say a nihilist, because a nihilist is not necessarily looking to cause harm when a sadist is.
The rumors that I'm hearing, and this could be all just nonsense, but from staffers and lobbyists and people in D.C. is the play that's happening right now. Like, why is Tucker Carlson all of a sudden saying, oh, this is bad, I oppose this, when only several years ago he was like, Iran is a serious threat.
People can't change their mind.
He can, but he's friends with Trump, and this is the game plan.
He's better friends with Vance.
Indeed. And the game plan is, if you want to win this, that you need controlled opposition. There should be an acceptable Democrat and Republican Party. And with the Democratic Party and woke being largely unfavorable, they are going to try and create a moderate space that will attract the likes of Joe Rogan, because he loves Tulsi Gabbard. And then you're going to have Joe Rogan in a couple of years being like,
And so essentially what he's saying is that the uniparty establishment wants to move away from the woke left and go back to essentially the Obama McCain type of Overton window. That's essentially what he's talking about. So he's saying they're going to use people like Joe Kent to be Joe Kent and Tulsi Gabbard to be like, the people that were on that side. So they're kind of based on whatever, but they're the new Democrats, so to speak. I'm not saying I agree or disagree. That is just what Tim is putting forward. Multi-Mind said, I hope I'm here when you get to it, but I have to work in 3 hours. You do what you gotta do, brother. Appreciate you being here.
I thought the Democrats were nuts. However, Tulsi Gabbard comes back in, and now we have real leadership of the Democrats. I think they can win. That's the game plan. But this prevents culture war, civil war expansion, and allows for the military-industrial complex and the pro-Israel element to maintain their wars and the liberal economic order.
Who do you think is all behind? Because this is a lot of really, really, really big pieces moving, and there's also an assumption that the Democrat base would ever consider. I understand you saying the moderate rights right now it shift back to being the moderate left.
Meaning someone like me who came from a liberal background, somebody like me. Oh, we get Morty coming up. Hey, Morty joined the party. Oh my goodness. It's been so long. You remember he used to be in my lap every single night. And now he likes his chair. But I guess you're back. All right, you got to lie down though. And so that's that's what's being proposed. That if you have a Tulsi Gabbard and Joe Kent type of party, then you ice out the progressives and you get back to the moderates and the Republicans dominating the field.
I understand you saying the moderate rights right now it shift back to being the moderate left and vote for Tulsi, but you won't win anything without the Democrat base, and the Democrat base is never going to go for Tulsi. Anyone who's touched Trump,
I don't know if that.
I disagree.
The Democrat base hates Trump.
I actually agree with her. I think once you are tarred and feathered by the MAGA, the MAGA aura. Once you're there, you're dead to them.
Trump so vehemently. Anyone that's touched him, anyone that's in their mind's been sycophantic and bootlicking, they're not going to touch.
The question's going to arise for your corporate Democrats. Who will they get more votes from, the moderates or the progressives? And the play is
the moderates,
to basically ice out the progressives.
But Gavin Newsom's already moving towards the moderates.
That's why AIPAC supported all of these Democrats and won in Illinois to get rid of the progressives.
Sure.
So again, I'm going to stress this. I can tell you this definitively because these people have said it to my face. The mandate for the corporate press right now is to buy up podcasts and take this. All of these independent podcasts that exist are going to be pulled into HBO, Paramount, Netflix, whatever it might be. It's already happening. Sean Hannity launched a podcast. Netflix has a podcast section. They had a meeting in.
I was not happy about that. I saw the podcast section on Netflix. I'm like, wait a minute. I don't know if I trust this. Shout out to the viewerski. Welcome. Answering the poll. Do you watch Timcast IRL? So it depends on the guest. Same with Hot Ones. Did I somehow unsubscribe? I can't remember the last time I've seen a Hot Ones. I used to watch them all the time, and then, it gets to the point where, okay, I get what we're doing here, and it becomes about the guest. But I gotta check that out. But welcome. We also got equality and deference because of vagina over on Rumble. Said, liked, and shared. My goodness. Thank you. So very, very much. You guys know that stuff is free. It's easy. It just takes 1 second, and it really helps out the channel. It does not even matter if you think anybody's going to click on the link just by you telling the platform that you want more people to see it. They will show it to more people. Welcome. Quali said, I doubt that Jiggle Tits could fix anything other than her overworked bra. Sean Hannity has the IQ of a hamster. All right. I guess you guys are fired up. Let's get it going. And in case you haven't seen, we have revealed the Trump Hindu tattoo. You guys picked it. He's got his Trump hat and his red tie. I said I'd do it, and we did it. So definitely donate to the Hindu Trump Fund from the Indian Jesus.
It's already happening. Sean Hannity launched a podcast. Netflix has a podcast section. They had a meeting in Florida where all these people got together and discussed how they get into space. It is the corporate mandate. NBC Universal.
Wait, one more. She being Tulsi or she being Kyla?
Is having these very same conversations right now. Don't take my word for it. Larry Ellison just bought CBS, and they're working on purchasing CNN right now.
Well, that was my question.
Shout out to Glow and Dark. Welcome to the party. Very good to see you. said he doesn't have the IQ of a hamster. He has the IQ of a wombat. Very, very different. Very different. Get it straight. Shout out to TV Viewerski with the big. Oh, where's my wheels are stuck in the thing. The big $10 PayPal. Thank you. So very, very much, and of course, a treat for the Overlord. See, it's much easier when you're right here. It's much easier when you're right here. Thank you so very, very much. And of course, that makes you the new sponsor of the stream. Very much appreciated. Let's dive back in. Oh, really? I definitely thought you meant Tulsi, but hey, fair enough.
My word for it. Larry Ellison just bought CBS, and they're working on purchasing CNN right now.
Well, that was my question. Are you saying that this is coming from Ellis? Why is Ellis would be interested in Tulsi Gabbard? And why would Tulsi be able to make a better bid for the moderate, Democrat vote than somebody like Gavin Newsom, who's making a pretty hard movement towards trying to connect?
So is
and don't forget about AOC.
But don't forget about JD Vance, right? So these elements are at play. But again,
who does Trump support?
I'm not.
And so again, just in this moment right now, shout out again to TV Viewerski. Just in this moment right now, she's already pulling out more of the reasoning behind the things that they're saying instead of just us hearing the things that they're saying.
Entirely sure.
Rubio.
I think Rubio is the actual player for 2028.
This would soft require throwing Trump under the bus a little bit.
Well, Trump's going to get impeached probably. So
Trump's going to get impeached, and there's even speculation that Trump might actually step down early, so that Vance gets in as president for a little bit before Rubio takes the opportunity for 2028. Again, I don't know for sure. What I can tell you is this.
Like I said, you kept your word. Of course, I am a man of my word. And this is a sign of my dedication to you, this community, the message that I spread, and anything else. Find another streamer that will do that. Find another one that will do it.
Takes the opportunity for 2028. Again, I don't know for sure. What I can tell you is this. There have been rumors around DC for a while that Tulsi Gabbard was preparing to resign, and she was going to start doing PR moves where she views Trump respectively so that she can maintain moderates. She's not going to play the Trump derangement syndrome game. She's going to say that she respects him. He's a good guy. The Democrats were wrong to go after him, but the war is wrong. We shouldn't be involved. She's going to play the regime change thing.
Yeah, but you can.
Shout out to Jason. Welcome. Don't worry. They get into the reason I wanted to cover this is, like I said, the fact that she does bring good pushback. But the conversation itself, I think, is a really interesting one. With the news being so gobbled up by war talk, then we forget about the stuff that we're dealing with every day. That even if there's not an election right around the corner, then we still have to stay locked into all of this stuff, the street level stuff.
But the war is wrong. We shouldn't be involved. It's going to play the regime change thing.
Yeah, but you can flip once. You can't flip twice. That's like career suicide.
Even if it wasn't her, their strategy actually makes sense to me, because at least you get rid of the progressive side of politics, which I think is the most radical thing on the planet. And so if this is what they're thinking, if this is what they're planning, it sounds like a nice little strategy, because even if Tulsi loses, if she is the person, that still means it doesn't go to the progressive side like Gavin Newsom.
But who's they? Who's they? Who's the person at the top or the collection at the top?
So I couldn't help myself. I could not help myself. Lumwo said Gavin Newsom is making a hard try to connect. He said he is like black people. I'm a 960 SAT guy. You've never seen me read a speech because I cannot read a speech just like you. That's what he said. And yet, I do think that, barring some wild play from the establishment like what they're talking about, then he will be the next president. I'm not going to say I'd be surprised. There's a lot of time, but something surprising would have to happen between now and then. Gavin's going to win.
These decisions that are unified enough to do
Larry
this.
Ellison is a big Trump supporter and Trump fan.
Miriam Adelson.
Right, which is why I'm
Ellison
going, why would Ellison fall in line under Gabbard?
So if a Tulsi Gabbard candidate is if your choice, if Larry Ellison's looking at who his choice is going to be, and it's got to be a Republican like Trump or some wackaloon lefty, he's going to be like, can we get a Democrat in there that's not a threat to us?
Like Rubio or Newsom. I have a feeling that I feel like he would probably go for Rubio, right?
there's going to be a Republican and a Democrat. They want the Democrat to be someone who's not a threat. They want moderately pro-war and pro-war.
They being
Trump's inner circle, the donor class, the people who are buying up these media platforms and changing the narrative on them.
Sure, but
You're saying your point is
elites.
They don't want batshit crazy.
But
They
a lot
don't
of
want
corporate
the
elites
progressive
Chick of the
hate
trans.
each other.
So
Weird,
here's the issue. They want
So from what I understand, Tim is saying that the establishment, they want to move away from wokeness and the far left and the progressive ideology being that mainstream. And so they will kind of undercut the Democratic Party to make it seem more palatable to people who are centrist, independent, and stuff like that. But I think Kyla's asking, like, okay, how exactly would that happen? And again, that's the question that needs to be asked, because everybody's like, oh yeah, Tim, yeah, sounds good. And nobody's being like, wait, what exactly are you talking about? Shout out to Yamaha Colors, and shout out to Tim Scott. Tim Scott could maybe
pro-Israel. They want some kind of Israel ambivalent or pro-Israel.
All of them, because I feel like a lot of corporate
ambivalent.
elites, like it feels like right now what we're seeing is like the battle of the billionaires. You've got like kind of the Musk and the Teals like on one side, and then
And
you've
Elon
got
Musk
like
is pro-Israel.
yeah, and you've got like the
And Larry Ellison is
Soroses,
pro-Israel.
and you've got like the Gates on the other side that are very at contention with each other.
Bill
It's not-
Gates is pro-Israel.
yeah, but
And indeed, maybe these people do not like each other. So the play in DC with Trump, again, I'm going to stress this. This is the rumor that I'm hearing. I don't know if this is true. Joe Kent maybe is just doing whatever Joe Kent feels like. They want to take control of the middle of the road Democrat position. They want war, and they know that the war with Iran is going to be bad for moderates. So they want to take control of a moderate Democrat space.
with the goal of putting the
The goal is
goal of war.
your choices for president in 2028 will be kind of pro-war and pro-war.
So bad and worse.
gotcha.
The way it's always been.
Yes.
I was
Well,
just going to say
Again, the way I look at it
But
is
going back to
Trump
status
could
quo.
have
it is
been
being
good.
viewed largely by these donors and these elites that we must have a narrative machine the way we did.
That's what I'm saying, dude. I think she might be a new staple of the show. Like she brings out a lot of good discussion, and it's not about agreeing with her, but she asks the right questions that make for interesting clips. So, all right. Troops are screwed. Oh man, yeah. I don't even know what's going on there. That's why I'm happy that we have something else to talk about other than specifically the war, because I'm just so lost on that. I'm so lost.
Donors and these elites that we must have a narrative machine the way we did back in the 90s or the 2000s, where when we say we're going to war for the petrodollar, we do not get media opposition.
Hence why they should be buying up all of these podcasts.
And that's what they're already doing, or drowning them out with AI slop content, or buying TikTok and banning certain voices. So again, I point this out in perhaps there are grand conspiracies I don't know about, or maybe there's not really, and there's just a handful of powerful elite billionaires that are making moves to make this happen.
There's definitely
But-
some conspiracy.
Well, conspiracy implying criminal wrongdoing. What I'll say is this: we know
Shout out to Alex Stein 99
for a fact Ellison purchased CBS. They're making a bid for Warner Brothers, which would give them CNN as well. And we know that they're part of the group that is acquiring TikTok explicitly because of Israel. TikTok had a massive amount of anti-Israel content.
84% pro-Palestine.
Pro-Palestine. And this is not a conspiracy. This is not meant to be a shock content or conjecture. We know for a fact Republicans wanted to ban TikTok because the content was more progressive. Democrats said no. Then when Axios put out this report showing,
which was always a stupid position, because the position should just be get on there and lobby for them to change the rules to make it better, which it is now. I will fight until the end. TikTok is unquestionably the best social media platform,
the majority,
even with the liberal bias. Because I mean, come on, you you think YouTube doesn't?
content after October 7th flipped to pro-Palestine, all of a sudden all the Democrats were on board and they said, yes, we should ban TikTok. Trump's strategy was not to stop the ban of TikTok, although that's what it looked like, and all these young people were cheering for him. Trump's strategy was, there's a better way to do this. You ban it, people get mad. We sell it to pro-Israel American interests, we win. Just off of TikTok alone, I think it is fair to see the play for every Democrat, every Republican, and the investors is
This seems like a little bit of a stretch. I mean, maybe he knows something that I don't, but it seems like a little bit of a stretch. So to be fair, I was never on Vine. I remember my girlfriend at the time going through it and like listening to somebody be on Vine was the most obnoxious thing ever. It was just 6 seconds. You'd be like, but you know, the fact that it started out as you know, having the short form, that's not really what TikTok is anymore. You can do short form, but you can record up to 10 minutes. And if you have a video, I've seen 20-minute videos on there. I would assume that you know, if it's longer, you can just upload it. But yeah, and I prefer, and my algorithm knows that I prefer longer form videos in terms of what's available on TikTok. I rarely get these typical 30-second things. I usually get, you know, essentially a YouTube video. Ian's awesome. I love Ian. He's been on the channel. Search the Indian Jesus, Ian Crossland, and you will find it. I think he's a cool dude. He's very chill. I think the frustration that a lot of people have is that he really thinks outside of the box and not always in the best way. Sometimes in the best way, but not always. And so it can derail conversations. And we end up going on the show. It ends up going down rabbit holes that it's like, bro, what are you fucking talking about? And but yeah, cool dude. How much time have you spent on TikTok? Oh, exactly. Talking shit about what you don't know. You know, like the wokies do. You fucking lib. So don't forget, the Christian voters and Jewish voters will always vote Republican. It's a spiritual war for decency. Democrats can't escape woke trans ideology. And that's, I think, specifically what Tim is talking to right now, that they understand that. They tried it, and it's not working. So they're like, how do we walk this back? And you can't because of the ideology. So to use his words, you've just got to ice them out. Ice them out.
Fair to see. The play for every Democrat, every Republican, and the investors is take control of the media and pro-Israel, and the narrative will be pro-Israel.
So what's worse,
why?
a Chinese-owned TikTok or pro-Israel-owned TikTok?
I think a Chinese one would be worse. Like we're already sharing information with Israel for better or worse. You know. All right, what do we got here? That's your freebie. We're doing $5 side quest now. 2 hours. So wait, let's do the. So 2 hours. Come on.
That's it, a single cup. And then I don't drink coffee after 10 a.m.
It's just that I get him so high when I'm sitting next to him. He gets all
Shout out to Ian Crossland.
stimulated.
Actually, the secret is Ian's got a cattle prod. And when I start getting tired, he just walks in the room and shut the fuck up. No, he says talk more.
Go.
So it's like I'll record my first segment and I'll be like, Ian, I'm just too tired.
Go.
Do our 5 minutes. 2:05.
And they leave.
Well, they do. It's just that they're always going to be outvoted by common man interest, right? And so this is why I said there has to be a sweet spot, right? Tax the rich doesn't mean I would never be for like a 90% tax on rich people. I think that's silly. I think it's a bad progressive talking point. But like land value tax, for example, is so much better than property tax. It's genius.
How does it work?
Okay, so property taxes basically disincentivize you from developing property, right? Because if your property gets better, they charge you more, despite you contributing to society.
Right.
Land value says you can develop it as much as you want, but if that piece of land, say you have 40 acres and it's in downtown LA, you're going to pay out your ass because it's high prime land and you have a lot of it. Whereas if you have 40 acres in
How does that compare to like Catholic and Orthodox? Yeah. Makes sense to me. It's the Protestant churches that are all the Skittles churches, right?
because it's high prime land and you have a lot of it. Whereas if you have 40 acres in bumfuck nowhere, you're going to get taxed almost nothing.
So you're saying like the government should appropriate people's property?
No, it's very much the opposite. It's saying we decide how much value a piece of land is worth based on its location, based on the size of plot, and you get taxed on that instead of on property value.
The problem is inflation, because if you double...
Let me finish the question. We're not asking a question. So are you familiar with like how property breaks apart and how value taxes are government appropriation? So no. I'll just explain it. So you have 50 acres in 1800 and you're in an empty area that no one really cares about.
Yeah.
You do a little bit of farming there, but 50 acres isn't really enough to do any kind of substantial farming. And it's a relatively small plot for back in the day. Mm-hmm. You build a house, you die, your kids get it. 1900s come around and there's some development around your 50 acre plot of land. And so the value has more worth now because of the existing businesses. So what used to be just kind of wilderness trash No, it actually is reasonably valuable for anybody who wants to develop, but for the most part, they don't think about it. However, property taxes for your property. So let's do it all based on just modern property values. So you have a property that's worth $100,000 and you got to pay a property tax about $2,000 per year. And you make that money from your job or whatever it is you do, and then you pay those taxes. You give the property to your children, they inherit it. But now, because there's some development around, which you can't control, the property is worth $300,000. You got to pay $6,000 this year. Well, your kids who inherited are just working the same farm they always did. They're not making $6,000. The farm generates just enough to get by. So what do? They parcel a piece of that land. They carve it off and they sell it off. Mm-hmm. After 75 years, the land is now 50 different single acre parcels owned by a random smattering of people. Or the worst part is they can't afford the taxes, so the government seizes the property and then appropriates it.
Sure, but in the case of property tax, now we have a different incentive structure where they sit on their land and they let it get increasingly dilapidated over time, because if they improve it, if they put it in a warehouse, it'll get reassessed.
But
right?
Your argument of a land value tax functions the exact same way, slightly differently.
In a way that I essentially am saying I have preference for. Like, you can be opposed to land value tax, but I think it's a better tax.
If you have 50 acres and we say we're not taxing the development, so we're not going to consider the structures as per the value of that land, right?
Right. It's going to be like spaces and stuff.
Then I build.
Melty, give me a little bit of a little bit more commentary on what you're there. Yeah, one step ahead.
Build a aluminum plant, which brings 500 jobs, and people start developing around my acreage. They set up a coffee shop. They set up a bank. Now you've got the makings of a small town from this refinery. That refinery and development did increase the value of the land it sits on. It won't be the same because the refinery is going to be worth tens of millions of dollars, but that land will go from 400,000 to 4 million overnight.
Yeah, and then it'll be more likely to be built into like a city later on. I think that this. So again, your argument against this has to be all taxes are bad, right? And I'm not for that.
No, it's that
I think
value
this is
taxes
a
are bad.
I think
like a wealth tax or a property tax or a land value tax or like paying tax on the value of your car.
How do you tax land then? How do you tax property?
You don't.
So just no taxes?
You can pay sales tax. You can pay income tax.
I'm down for that.
But the point is...
So just never move.
Never move. What does that mean, never move?
Well, your incentive in that place, if all we tax is like sales, for example, then everyone is going to be incentivized to just keep property in the land. We're going to have extremely low mobility.
Is your argument that we should create a system by which people can lose their land to the government to incentivize them?
That's what inheritance and stuff is.
Well, it's not losing.
That's an incentive right there.
They're choosing to sell it off. Usually,
right. The government put a gun to your head and said, do it or go to jail, so they sell their property.
No,
okay.
No,
will you go to jail if you don't pay your taxes?
I think eventually, but like very rarely. It's very rarely that like in cases where people refuse to take.
Will they seize your property if you don't pay taxes?
Up to a certain point. They won't take like your first home
so
or your
when
house
you tax someone's property and they've inherited the land, I can't tell you. I bought a piece of land that was for pennies on the dollar. It was inherited by the family that owned it. And they were like, we don't make money that can afford the taxes on this place.
Sure, but I'm in favor of some taxes, right? I'm obviously in favor of taxes.
I know, but when you tax someone's land, you're basically saying there will be no generational wealth.
Well, arguably, what you're saying is that while generational wealth will be maintained, but there will be no housing development ever at any time, because if you sell things off, you lose money. Yeah, because if you are the person,
you are arguing that.
No, I'm not saying that.
If a housing development emerges around dead acreage.
So, Melted Mind Media bringing us this side quest. And property tax right now is based on what you have on your land, which you don't like either. She wants to go around your property and on your. What she wants? What around your property? Oh, you like what is around your property to decide the value. And I mean that does come into effect of the value of the land, but not on the taxation, or it shouldn't.
That acreage becomes worth more money. So
if you only get taxed on what you sell, which is your model, then you're never incentivized to ever sell, right?
You are.
Why would you ever sell if that's the time you're going to...
If you have a reason beyond paying the taxes.
Stupid.
So, I mean, like, this is a great example. This is a great example of why I like Kyla being in this situation. It was the same exact reason that I liked Ian being in this situation. Not because he always says the best things, but because he forces everybody else to better articulate things to the rest of us. Maybe we don't understand it as well as they do. And, sometimes you understand something, and so you explain it in a way as if the other person already understands it. And then there's a lot going on, and we move past it, and you never really get it. Whereas here, we're getting into the weeds of it, and I think that's good. Shout out to more guys Hammer. Welcome to the party. Said, liked, and shared again. Thank you. So very, very much. Free, easy, helps out so very, very much. Doesn't even matter if you think anybody is going to click on the link. All of it helps. Calling said, taxation is theft and ultra gay. Bingo. Agreed. Agreed. We got Rule OV2 welcome. Said flat tax all day. No income tax, no property tax. Current system is a pyramid scheme. 50% of people currently pay taxes under a flat tax on a consumable goods, make it 100. Interesting. What do you guys think about that flat tax? No income tax, no property tax. Interesting. We also got Edge of the South. Welcome to the party. So again, I think that was a great example of So if I own a shit house and I could barely afford in a town my family gave me after periods, guys. Jesus fucking Christ! When did everybody stop using punctuation? This is the last fucking chat that I'm reading, unless it uses proper some type of punctuation. So if I own a shit house I can barely afford in a town my family gave me after they passed, then they build a Starbucks across the street, making to where I can't afford the tax, main to where I see to.
What?
Anyway, so going back to the current conversation, let's back that up a little bit.
See, the play for every Democrat, every Republican, and the investors is take control of the media and pro-Israel, and the narrative will be pro-Israel.
Well, Gus Hammer says the government owns your land and your labor. You're a slave. True.
So what's worse,
why?
a Chinese-owned TikTok or pro-Israel-owned TikTok?
I guess the troubling thing is you at least have some recourse in the United States.
American-owned company.
Yeah.
I just, I'm trying to see the through line of what the goal
China
is
wants
here.
to pull
let me first ask you this.
Trump under the bus necessarily.
You do know that they purchased TikTok because of this.
Yeah,
right?
no. I agree that the Ellis brothers have been buying up all sorts of their
CBS. They're going to get CNN with the war.
I'll give a dilly for that. A good one. Yes, Morgas Hammer, and anyone on the vertical stream, feel free to, if you're enjoying it, have fun. But if you did not want to be on vertical and you want to be on the regular landscape show where we have better polls, just go right into the description. The link will always be there. So right now we just have, do you watch Timcast IRL? Yes, every day, regularly, but not every day, sometimes or never. I wanted to see how familiar you guys were with Tim as of recently. Hey, David's back. Indeed. But since you let's do this. Since you hit us before the show even started, we got him in my lap today. Let's give him another one. That's a new rule. Any super chats that come in before the stream starts gets double treats. David, thank you so very, very much. Yeah. Apparently, which I don't understand. How the fuck are you watching something and also whatever? Just say period or comma. It will do a period or a comma.
I agree that the Ellis brothers have been buying up all sorts of their
CBS. They're going to get CNN with the Warner Brothers merger as well.
Yeah, I'm familiar with all of that. Well, I'm just trying to go, if he's...
Actually, really quick, quality, I'm going to switch up to a new poll because 30% of you said every day, 30% of you said never, 20% of you said regularly but not every day, and 20% of you said sometimes. So now I'm going to ask, is Kyla a good addition to the show? Not, do you agree with Kyla, or do you think she is smart, or do you think she's hot? Do you think she is a good addition to the show?
Purchase TikTok because of this.
I agree that the Ellis brothers have been buying up all sorts of their
CBS. They're going to get CNN with the Warner Brothers merger as well.
I'm familiar with all of that. I'm just trying to go, if he's so pro-Trump, why wouldn't he just pivot? If he's got this good thing with the right, it feels like there's a lot of still motivated energy behind it. I understand Iran's not popular, but just why don't you just have Marco Rubio come out and be like,
they are going to have Marco Rubio.
But why wouldn't they get him behind him? That's what I'm trying to understand.
They are behind him.
They're behind both.
You know what controlled opposition is?
Yeah. But I'm saying, why would anyone think that Tulsi Gabbard is going to successfully run in a Democrat base?
She's not expected to win.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't matter.
Right. So they're setting it up that Tulsi takes the fall, and whoever else they set up is the better one. All right. So let's try this again. So if I get given a shit house I can barely afford, and they build Starbucks across the street, that would raise taxes to the point where I have to sell to a corporation or get foreclosed on. Because then right. So that's why we want the taxes, if there are going to be property taxes, based on what the property value is, not the surrounding the surrounding properties. Rule said she provides pushback, in my opinion, keeps the convo moving. If everyone agreed, it'd be boring. Bingo. That's what I said. Great minds think alike. Equality said she would have definitely been a good addition if she served beers while in lingerie. All right, fair enough. They get into it with this one, though. They get into it.
She's just
when
there.
Your choice is pro-war or pro-war.
Right.
Or I should say, like, Tulsi's going to be the moderate, but it's also this.
Okay.
It's
this is all true. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about that? How do all of you guys feel? Like, say all of this theory.
I don't know. I guess it just is, right? Like
I remember this part, and it's a little weird how hard it is for her to get an answer to this question. How do you guys feel about the fact that the political landscape is moving in that direction? That's the question.
All of my life until Trump won, this is what it was. You could not go on TV if you opposed the war in Iraq. They wouldn't let you on. All of these anti-interventionist personalities, they were just on little microblogs on the internet that didn't matter. Well, whether it was intentionally or otherwise, these channels got really big. Alex Jones got nuked. He was doing over 100 million uniques per month, and he was making an insane amount of money, so they ban him outright. Nick Fuentes starts getting really popular. They ban him outright. All of a sudden, then, you have several high-profile, prominent conservatives who were friends with Trump flip, and now all adopt similar positions around the exact same time. Now, I will say it's entirely possible that there is a global or cultural zeitgeist where this is the content that makes money. This is what people are going to chase. So you can call Tucker, Megyn, Candace, and whoever else grifters who are just trying to make money. And maybe that's really just what it is. But I do think it's interesting that they all shift their positions at the exact same time, despite being friends with the Trump family and the administration.
Yeah, but it feels like the way you're talking about it, I feel slightly negatively, I guess, about this.
So interesting. Multimine Media said if she's on the show, nobody but Tim or her are talking. So I would say she's bad for the show. But is it better? Again, I'm not arguing. I'm posing the question. Is it better to have Tim and Kyla talking and having a higher level discussion, or everybody just kind of saying stuff that they're just saying stuff? Point being, the fact that other people aren't talking doesn't necessarily mean it's a worse show. It just means they got to get even better people on the show. I don't know. They banned Alex and fined him almost $1 billion. I thought it was more than that. I thought it was like $3 billion or something like that. I think she would be better if it was a one-on-one debate, not a multi-person show with 5 guests. And that is fair, but I'll give you pushback on that. You guys have seen if I've been on a panel where I'm the only atheist or whatever, I tend to get a lot of the attention because there's a lot of agreement from the other people. And so if they are going to speak, they're again just going to say the same thing that was already said. So I don't know. Would you rather watch a Tim Pool Kyla debate that's good, or a roundtable of a bunch of people that you kind of know and maybe you don't, or I don't know. Shout out to Guam Tech. Welcome to the party again, guys. Said, like, and share. That's how we grow, guys. That's how we grow. Thank you, and welcome to the party.
Family and administration.
Yeah, but it feels like the way you're talking about it, I feel slightly negatively, I guess, about this. Like, I'm curious from a conservative side, like when you guys hear like the conservatives are maybe, let's just say all this is true. How do you guys as conservatives feel about that happening within your movement?
Well, it sounds like
that's all we're doing. We're just playing team sports, just like the wokies. Okay. All right. Like I said, a more in-depth discussion is indeed preferable, but I can't comment as to Jiggletit's contributions juxtaposed to the other kids. I won't say the other people, but I'll say that I definitely kind of fell out of the need to tune in because I felt like I knew what they were already going to say, and now we're covering it. So I mean. Guantex said, out of many leftists, I would say she is smart enough to hold her own, but man, do I hate her politics. Bingo. I can respect her intellect without agreeing with her. Exactly. You get it. Hey, shout out to Rule OB2 for the gifted membership. Thank you. So very, very much. And gifted himself. Awesome. That is badass. make sure you click the link at the top of the chat. That is the Discord, which is absolutely free. It's absolutely free. However, if you are a member, then it comes with extras, including the after party. So as soon as we are done here on YouTube, we head over there. We don't have to worry about any TOS or anything, and you are not stuck behind your keyboard. You're actually on screen with me and everybody else, whether you want to cam up or not. And Rule's like, oh, it wasn't for me. Let's try somebody else again. Thank you so very, very much. Morty's loving it. He's loving it. Thank you so very, very much. Oh man, love it. Love to see it. What did I miss here? Thank you so very, very much. Sean, welcome to the party. So I just unsubscribed from Timcast just now and discovered this channel. Whatever you're doing, the algorithm favors it. All right, we like it. Welcome. Very good to see it. Love it. All right, let's dive back in.
How do you guys as conservatives feel about that happening within your movement?
Well, it sounds like we're living on borrowed time then.
In what way? Like, what do you mean?
No, this is it then.
That's not a feeling.
MAGA is on
No, this is it.
This is
For
like
what's borrowed? Like for show
our voices,
privacy?
this show, this independence that we have to have alternative voices. We're living on borrowed time then.
I think we were always living on borrowed time. I think the idea that there would ever truly be a permanent decentralized network of commentary and podcasts was silly. I mean, in 2018 they were banning people left and right and then lying about it. In 2020 you couldn't even say, I don't know if we need masks. You'd get banned for it. You couldn't even say, I think the virus may have come from the Wuhan Institute of Virology, which is a mile away from the wet market. They'd ban you for
the good old days. For
that too. So we've dealt with wave after wave of censorship, and we've only had in the past couple of years a semblance of some kind of free speech.
So, but just really quick.
Yeah.
But do you believe even if that happens, the opposite must take place too, sooner or later?
What do you mean?
A cause and effect.
What do you mean?
Meaning before Trump, you had the media the way that it was.
Yep.
But because of that, Trump comes along and the opposite happens. Will that happen again?
I think exactly along with what this guy is saying. So again, essentially, Tim is saying what I think is going to happen next is that they're going to try to consolidate by icing out the progressives and make the Overton window much smaller, like it was before Trump. But this guy is saying, okay, maybe, they're buying up all the podcasts and all that stuff, and they're centralizing the way that you get information again. Maybe. But then doesn't that imply that if that is going to happen, then just like previously, we had a Trump to come in and break that eventually people will, have the same issues with centralization of information and want to break out again. Like I said, I will say I hate how she acts like the gentle teacher. She comes off as mostly unintentionally patronizing. Yeah, I mean, she's a liberal white woman. What can we expect, right? What can we expect? But she's hot, so I'll deal with it. Melody said she is not smart. She is educated. She knows her talking points, but can't understand why they're not liberal, but communist talking points. Well, and that's why we need her here, because as much as we need to understand what they're thinking, they definitely need to understand what we are thinking. Oh, my goodness. Shout out to the Sugar Daddy. Monk, Master General with the big 10 gifted. Oh, there we go. Oh, where you go? You're hiding from everybody. Thank you so very, very much. And of course, that makes you the new sponsor of the stream. Welcome. Glad you caught yourself. Glad you're not dead. Ask him. The man almost died. He almost died. Thank you again so very, very much. Let's dive back in. And so again, the question is, if if all that power and all that information gets centralized, then why wouldn't we see another thing like a Trump coming in to break that up?
Because of that, Trump comes along and the opposite happens. Will that happen again?
Well, it depends on the change in media, right? So we had there's a couple of theories on it. So I'm actually friends with the individual who started Obama's Facebook campaign, in which many contribute to his victory. He's mobilizing young people on social media, and the perception is, or at least what this individual has told me, when the campaign was told to use social media, this is like 2007, 2008. Like no one really knows what's going on with it, but young people are on it. The older crowd, the boomers and the Gen X, were like, why does this matter? And it's kind of like the Blockbuster phenomenon. They take a look at, actually, let me phrase it like this. You can't move until it's too late, right? So Blockbuster, for instance, is the biggest game in town in video rentals. Netflix, I believe Netflix was founded before Google was. It was like 1997 or something. And
yeah. Adam was the newer Adam was just talking about this site where he's I think like supertips.com or something where you can go and get donations and they you keep 90% of it instead of with YouTube they take 30%, so you get 70. And I'm like much appreciated, but ain't nobody leaving the site to give me money, bro. Not yet. We'll get there eventually. But yeah, people go where they feel comfortable. This is the exact reason why you see a lot of boomers still having cable TV, because even though it sucks, it's just what they know. Same reason that I don't like using OBS, because StreamYard is just what I know, even though it potentially is way better. Like
Netflix. I believe Netflix was founded before Google was. It was like 1997 or something. And they originally would mail DVDs to you. It was kind of weird.
Gamefly or something like that?
Yeah. And well, that was, I don't know if that's the same company. Oh, yeah. But then they had some streaming on their website. But some movies were only available for distribution. Netflix apparently was like, buy us, Blockbuster. And Blockbuster was like, no. The issue is 80% of video rentals are at the video store. And so Blockbuster is saying, look, we may be shrinking, but we are not going to allocate resources at a lower margin to a new market. No one does.
How does this relate to the changing of the political landscape?
So the same thing is true for the internet. The powers that be look at the internet and say, listen, we're getting 20 million viewers per night on CNN. Why should we bother with Facebook? And then 2 years later, it's 10 million. Then 2 years later, it's 5 million. And then all of a sudden, Alex Jones is dictating policy effectively.
Oh, okay, so it's still talking about the fact that everybody used to get their information from TV and newspapers, and now they don't.
And so that is one theory that we went through this period. We've gone through multiple periods where you had, as I mentioned, the Napster phase where music was basically free. Then they wrapped it up into subscriptions and they got their money back. Then you had Mega Upload where movies were free. Then they wrapped it up into subscription services or Amazon, and now they got their money.
We got to look out for that. I'm not doing any. Well, I didn't even say that. Or shout out to Dusty. It was AI. Nope. We got to look out for that.
Upload where movies were free. Then they wrapped it up into subscription services or Amazon, and now they got their money back. Now you have the political commentary and social media space where people are affecting the political worldview, and they're going to wrap that back up, put in a subscription service, and get their power back.
But so I guess I feel like I'm not going to answer this. If I heard this, like
remember, the question was, how do you feel about all of this happening?
My own side, people that I supported to some degree, are moving in such a way to further crush free speech and control the narrative. My answer goes, that's not good. I like free speech. So, and I think you guys, that's like,
yeah, I said shit. Me too.
What you're big on in the show. So how do you feel about that? Like, I feel like the answer isn't, well, guess we roll over and like take it up the bum. It is what it is. Like, how do you guys feel about the fact that in many ways it sounds like you're hearing that your own side, that in many ways you supported?
My own side.
Well, you've supported Tulsi Gabbard.
I would argue that the establishment powers and the millionaires and the billionaires have never been anyone's side other than the elites.
Come on, Tim. You know that she means just basic left-right. Like, you know that.
But you supported Trump, right? And you've supported his selection of administration. I mean,
so she's just asking about from the perspective of someone who voted for Trump, which would not be her, which is why she's asking for the perspective. How do you feel about that?
It may actually be that it's all one big happy family tree. So that's actually
the argument.
It might be.
Like the free speech crushing might be good for us?
No. It's that they're all basically saying, why are we fighting? Right. Let's just be rich and control this. What do we need to do?
Yeah. I mean,
so how, Tim, do you feel about that?
It's bad, right?
Yes, it's bad.
But how do you guys feel about that being bad? It's your side. So what do you guys want to do? Thank you. But what do you guys want to do?
But again, why?
Oh my goodness! Shout out to equality and deference because vagina with the $2 Rumble rant. Thank you. So very, very much. I have the window just too small to be able to see it. Public service announcement. Gold and silver have been hammered over the last several days. Gold is in the 4,400 area, and silver is below $70. So think about investing. Buy the dip, not financial. What are they supposed to say? Not financial advice or whatever, but not a bad idea. Thank you so very, very much. And so this one was a point for Kyla. I'm saying. And again, we need to take a step back, and it's not about do we agree with her. Is this stoking the conversation in a way that is beneficial, especially from my perspective, to people who maybe don't have the time or desire to pay attention to the news every day? And I think yes. I think yes.
Thank you.
But what are you guys going to do?
But again, why do you keep saying your side?
Well, guys, I'm not on.
Because she's differentiating from her own side.
Stupid.
Right, I don't support
the media
Gabbard
companies
or
are not
or
on
Gabbard.
our side and never have been.
Sure, I understand
They're not on
that.
the right
But
either.
Sure.
That's why she's not asking about their side. She's asking about your side.
But
Kyla,
you're describing.
you've heard
Warner Brothers is not
Can
the
I
right.
respond? Because if I'm going to be 2v1, I have to be able to respond.
No. You have made an accusation over and over again that the corporate media is on the right. Is not correct.
I've never said that the corporate media is
You
on the right.
just said it's your side
No.
doing it as
Your
described.
side,
the corporate media
as described.
is
He did not say that.
purchasing.
She did not say that. Rather, she has been asking. They presented. Shout out again to oh yeah, there we go. Equality. Thank you very, very much. He laid out, I think this is going to happen. And she said, how does that make you feel? And he said, well, it just is. That's not an answer to the question.
You have made an accusation over and over again that the corporate media is on the right. It is not correct.
I've never said that the corporate media is on the right.
You just said it's your side
No.
doing it as we
Your
described.
side,
The corporate
as
media
described,
is purchasing podcasts.
No. What you said is Marco Rubio will be the one that Ellis is in support. Tulsi Gabbard will be the moderate, slightly pro-war, but not totally pro-war. She's the controlled opposition that they're putting forward. But all this is being organized in many ways, it sounds like, by people who are supporting Republicans, behind Republicans, and believed in the Republican vision. So what you're saying is a lot of people that in many ways were part of your coalition, whether you like them or not, are in many ways now moving against your own selves to crush free speech. And my question is, what do you do about that? If your theory is true?
No idea.
Yeah, I don't think there is.
Well, but now she switched and said, what do you do about that? Now she's asking for a solution. Before, she was asking for an opinion on how do you feel about that? And maybe she's moving because they're not going to get into their feelings. But, I mean, hey, we're specifically going to be talking about this is what I said and this is not what I said. Then we got to be on point. Tim is fumbling this, but thinks he cannot say what he wants. What do you think he wants to say that he can't say? Interesting.
What do you do about that? If your theory is true?
No idea.
Yeah, I don't think there is an
What do you
answer
do
to
about
that. I would say I don't know.
Support opposition, right? Support people who want corporate PAC money out of things.
But the actual the reality is supporting opposition is supporting people that want to jail people that supported Trump, right? And people that would speak out against.
Let's do this, Phil. Let's jump to the story from Fox News. Pritzker.
Hey, that was on Tim. That was on Tim, Melty. Phil was about to go up, and then he was like, "Nah, let's move on," which actually kind of leads to what Aaron is saying, that he's following because he can't say what he wants to say.
Let's do this, Phil. Let's jump to the story from Fox News. Pritzker pushes prosecutions of Trump officials as part of Democrats' Project 2029 agenda. So this seems to be the world that we're looking at. Some kind of elite civil war that's been going on for some time. The powers that be. Let me just start the segment by saying this. If you believe that the Trump side of things has not been preparing for the world after Trump, I've got a bridge to sell you. At the same time, if you believe Democrats are not preparing for a strategy to
that's me. That's what I want to say.
Win, then I've got another bridge. I got two of them actually. In fact, I got 7. You can have all of them for one great discount. It looks like the Democrat strategy that exists today is lock them up and destroy their lives civilly. The Republican play seems to be we need.
Wait. You know, I'm gonna call it like I say, but that's not what happened. He didn't stop Phil to talk over Phil to Erudite. He stopped Phil from talking to completely move on. But don't worry, they get right back into it. We got AL Wine. Welcome. Wanted to try, come drop a like and say, keep up the great work. Well, thank you so very, very much, Dilly to you. Welcome to the party.
To create, there's three spaces right now. The Democrats hate the right, the Republicans hate the left, and the middle of the road people are flickering left and right on various issues. Sometimes they lean left on a lot of issues. They've been leaning right on a lot of issues. And so the play is, how can we make the left and the right, the moderates are the left and the Republicans are the right? And then the Democrats and the progressives just are not strong enough as a coalition to actually win anything. The Democratic Party,
which is actually how it breaks down in society. Like the people that want to make sure that you can get tuck-friendly suits at school so that your parents don't know. Like the people who want that stuff are a minority, but the propaganda and the ability for the establishment to just make that seem mainstream, they were really good at that. And so everybody's afraid to speak out. Stop Phil to show an article, and then she will respond. Tim will talk. Well, but I'm just saying, you were saying that only the two of them talk when she's on the show. And I'm just pointing out that the only reason that someone else didn't talk, that was because of Tim. Oh, my goodness. Again, with the big 10 gifted memberships. My goodness. Thank you. You got to show them. Yeah. Oh, he's loving it. Yeah, getting into it. Thank you. So very, very much out sponsoring your god damn self. Thank you. Oh, my goodness. My heart is warm. Thank you so very, very much.
Just are not strong enough as a coalition to actually win anything. The Democratic Party will then have no choice but to pander to moderates. The Trump administration will then be safe, or I should say Trump officials after 2029 will not have to worry about it.
Oh, damn. We done hit the goal. He's in my lap. I don't want to get up. All right, let me play this. Let me get the banner, and then I'll be like back. But thank you so very, very much. Of course, that means Morty is going to get his peanut butter, and every $2 is another push-up I got to do. So keep the donos coming. Thank you so very, very much.
Will then be safe, or I should say Trump officials after 2029 will not have to worry about whatever this thing is that Democrats are planning to do.
I just want to go back to one thing. So would you agree with control opposition if it meant getting rid of stuff like this?
Me? I am never for the erasure of liberal fundamental.
Thank you. So very, very much. I'm gonna give him a few minutes and see if he gets up on his own. Because as soon as I come, he's not gonna be back.
Fundamentals. No, we don't.
That's not fundamentals. That's
is lawfare.
Well, crushing free speech isn't good either.
Like
this could be a weaponization of the DOJ. This could be legitimate prosecution.
The idea that this will not turn into a witch hunt is completely
Pritzker
farcical.
literally said, if we can't get them criminally, then we'll get them civilly.
DeSantis if it is Kyla. The case that they've done something wrong, right?
No. That's not what civilly means. Yeah.
Well, civilly can mean that you can't just brutally.
Back in the day, he used to be in my lap all the time. I remember once summer was over, once the winter came, anytime it was dark, he was in my lap shaking, maybe gonna take a treat, maybe not. He's matured a bit since then, I guess, but yeah, he's chilling right on my lap. I'm gonna give him a few minutes and see if he gets uncomfortable. He usually does, but you know the feeling. He's right there. He hasn't been over on my lap in a minute, but we will definitely not forget to get him his peanut butter.
No. That's not what civilly means.
Yeah.
Well, civilly can mean that you can't just brutally.
It means I will purport you did something wrong, but you didn't because you go to jail. You did something wrong, right? Civil is a dispute between two individual parties, and they're going to bog you down in court and drain your funds.
Sure.
Civilly is a threat of lawfare explicitly.
Yeah, I don't know much about Project 2029. So it really depends on what it actually comes to be forming. But in general, I'm not a big fan of large group pre-presidential plans like Project 2025 that get built up by a bunch of self-interested think tanks.
Right. Well,
that
they're
get
doing it too.
I don't like any of these.
I'm with you, but I'm just posing a question.
But you guys are saying,
Yeah,
I guess
why-
we roll over for the control
no,
opposition and
no,
pushing.
no, no,
You
no.
guys said, I don't know what we do. And I said, well,
That doesn't mean roll over.
what do you do?
Well, you continue to
He did kind of say, well, it just is.
do
It
shows
is
like
possible
this.
that you can identify something is wrong without knowing what to do something. How to
I
change
agree.
it.
I agree. But I feel
That's
like
not rolling over.
there's,
kind of the
there's
point of the
nothing
show.
Boobies.
that comes to mind. There's nothing that we go, what is the way? How do we look for example, in the upcoming elections, regardless of party, the candidates who
Well-
we think that's somebody that we can get in behind? And how do we leave behind these party ties to get good officials?
Right.
in?
I'm gonna go back to what Dvorak just said, and you know what? There's a certain point where I learned this from the left, the Karl Popper meme. I learned this from them, and you know what? I think they were right. Sometimes you cannot tolerate intolerance, and so we should use every means at our disposal to make sure anyone who threatens this is removed or barred from power.
This is the doomer shit. This is the doomer shit that had me be like, all right, enough, Tim. Like, there's nothing you can do, and it's just awful, and everything is awful all the time. Like, what? Why would I want to listen to that? So, all right, I'm going to hope. No, because he's going to be over there eating. But, all right, well. She's fucking hot. I don't know what you're talking about. You're bugging.
What about your current president weaponizing the DOJ against Jerome Powell and having multiple subpoenas blocked by federal cases? Are we?
I'm gonna repeat literally what I just said. And I saw this comic book about Karl Popper where the left argued, use whatever means necessary to stop your political opponents. And for years, I and many others said, well, we shouldn't resort to that. And then we got beaten to a pulp. And I said, you know what? They were right about that.
No, they weren't.
I guess I would say
We are better. We are better than them because we are better than them. If we act like them, we are no longer better than them.
Stupid.
Shout out to Heimdall. Welcome to the party. And we got our boy Box, the resident lefty. Welcome.
Face, sooner or later, you got to say stop.
Yeah, I started my career in 2022, and I started fighting other lefties who said the Republicans are ontologically evil. To them, we can do no bad things. And I said, that's evil. That is evilness. We're already giving up the game, right?
Still say that.
If there are certain Democrats,
Right. They do still say that, Phil, which is why it's good to have somebody on the left saying, hey, that's bad.
It's
that want to break liberalism, that want to break more of the Constitution to get retribution to the conservatives that they are mad at, I am opposed to that fundamentally, and I always have been.
Well, I want to make this
I would
point,
say
Kyla.
it's
It was
self-defense.
DeSantis that made anti-Semitism speech laws in Florida, so conservatives will limit the First Amendment.
I agree, right?
Yeah.
This is why I think being a party diehard in either direction is really dangerous, right? But I think we have to look at, okay, if we know that Trump is already weaponizing the DOJ and you guys agree that that's bad, right? And we go,
So the old Machiavellian, the ends justify the means.
that's not a good thing. I don't know if the next thing is we go, well, if they're moving towards a Marco Rubio who also wants to crush free speech and they're already actively right
Rubio
now
wants to do that.
weaponizing the DOJ, I don't know. The answer shouldn't be, well, I just don't know.
Let me ask you a purely hypothetical.
Sure.
There are two people with guns pointed at each other. You have a button that if you press it, their guns will disintegrate. Do you press it?
Yeah, but we don't think that's a little bit simplistic for whatever analogy that you're making here. And so maybe if they actually fought instead of using the word fighting when they really mean talking. Bingo. Right. Like if everybody devolves to that, this is exactly the black pill doomerism that I was like, okay, if this is all you're going to say, this is why I don't need to watch the show. Oh, well, they're bad, so we're going to be bad too. And whoever's bad the worst is going to be the winner. What? That sounds retarded.
Yes, if this isn't, I just don't know if this is analogous to the situation. Do you want to tell me how it's analogous?
Yeah, the point is we have two powerful political factions that are escalating the attacks against each other. And
all right, he's getting up. Yes, we can do this organically. I got a few minutes to hang out with my love and my lab. So thank you again to all the donations so far, guys. Only so far. We're still rocking, but we have hit the goal already. So that means Morty gets It's peanut butter. So yeah, if you're not familiar, I use peanut butter with my protein shakes, and can't really get much out of there.
Shadows got the word, the
So
truth once stood. A kingdom of confusion carved out of falsehood. Body walks through the ruins like a prophet reborn. A voice wants to fire, a mind drawn is gone. The chaos watches with an all-seeing glare. Guardian of reason in a world of
Yeah! Yeah!
The faithful rise up, they already know it's
Thank you. So very, very much. And of course, again, every $2 is another push-up that my puny ass gotta do. Thank you. And real quick, while we're here, in case you missed the tattoo reveal that you guys chose, the Indian Jesus presents the Hindu Trump. There's a red hat there. For you! Oh, all right, thank you so very, very much. And look how much he is enjoying it. Guys, thank you so very, very much. Let's see what you guys are saying here, and then we'll dive back in. Heimdall said we are fighting for our country. I agree, but the idea is that we can't stoop to a certain level, otherwise there's no country to fight for. David said, as far as any means necessary, is tying your hands in a war ever a good idea? No, but I mean, I don't think that we are at that place yet. I don't think we're there yet. I think there, especially people like Kyla, that we disagree with, that we think are stupid socialists, who are here willing to have the conversation. Yes, there's crazy people out there, but as much as you see crazy videos, how many people are really legitimately willing to go out and enact violence? It's not as much as you would seem. They're all talk, bark, whatever it is. There's no bite with most of them, and yes, it only takes a few to create an issue for an individual person, or it only takes one. But I don't think we're at this place yet. And so if we are in a civil war, then, if we're in a hot civil war, then okay, we'll talk about that. But I don't think we're there yet. But so what's going on? So Kyla, aka NotSoErudite, is a lefty. She used to be in the Destiny orbit. I don't know how close she is there. Maybe she still is. I don't know. But she has a philosophy background, and I really like where she comes from, even though I disagree with a lot of her positions. And I think her being on the show creates the opportunity for us to have, or for them to have, better conversations. Kenneth, welcome, said, how do we get good people in government? Answer, stop voting in both corporatist Republicans and Democrats. You gotta vote local. It starts local. The people only get that far because they were voted in at the lower level where nobody gave a shit. Once they're at the general election, once they're at the Senate, it's too late. Have I watched the greatest series of all time? I don't know what that says. Period and comma. I'm just saying, this may not make sense, but I heard a song once called there is that the or the guys, what is going on? You're making me feel like I'm having a fucking stroke. Gang. Box said, I might be a lefty, but I'm not a commie. That's what she said. That's what, and is there a difference? I don't know. Equality, thank you so much for hanging out. You have a good one. Has America leaving a vacuum ever been a good idea? No, it has not. We left Afghanistan and relinquished billions of dollars of frozen assets to Iran, and this is what happens. Yeah, I don't like it. Like I said, I give a shit about America, and I like capitalism. The is a broken party with a wide open, a broken party wide open for the taking right now. And so that's essentially what Tim is saying, is that they, whoever you want to say they is, are going to create something like a Tulsi Gabbard type being the left, so that the far left progressive wokeness kind of is out of the picture. That's their plan. And Kyla is now trying to get an understanding. Okay, how do you feel about that as somebody on the right? That they're going to try to pull information back to a few sources instead of the decentralized nature that we have now. That's what they all say. That's what they all say. I mean, I trust Box, but that you're gonna. I thought you were I am. I maybe I just don't know. I don't know what it says. I just don't know what it says. So if you want to type it again with some punctuation so that I can read it in English, then maybe I'll get it.
Powerful political factions that are escalating the attacks against each other, and do you stop them? Or do you just say, no, let them all keep doing this? Like, the Democrats might win, and then they're going to weaponize everything. Trump's weaponizing everything. Just let it keep happening.
Well, no,
or do we shut it down?
I think what we do, for example, is like recognize that a democracy needs a strong left and a strong right. This is why when I'm in a lot of liberal spaces, when, for example, like Ben Shapiro is standing up saying there do have to be lines of who's in the tent. We go, that's good, right? I don't have to like any of Ben Shapiro's policies. You guys, I don't know how you feel about Ben Shapiro, and I'm not saying you have to, but we have to.
Fuck Israel. Fuck Palestine.
Look at people who are saying we must play by the rules of the Constitution. If you believe in democracy, and if you think that this nation's beautiful experiment of America is something worth fighting for, then you have to find the politicians and the speakers and the pundits who do this.
It might not be pure free market capitalism, but it's capitalism. Maybe the worst kind, but capitalism all the way.
I just want to ask something. Like you've said a lot of philosophy, right?
Today?
No. I just mean like you talk. Yes, today. You make a lot of references to philosophers and this question.
I love philosophy.
So you bring up the Constitution, but you must be aware that is not an argument to anything you're saying. Let me just elaborate.
First Amendment.
I don't know. You'd have to ask them. I'm American.
Blasphemy was illegal when the First Amendment was ratified.
Is this just the argument you can amend away rights?
The left's idea of what is protected under the Constitution is fundamentally different from the right. And
this is the same exact argument that he had with Jack Dorsey and that Indian chick that on Rogan about Twitter when it was Twitter.
How each culture interprets the Constitution determines whether or not they believe it's being adhered to. So when you say we must adhere to the Constitution, which one?
I would say this is where the Rawls veils of ignorance is so useful. Is you go imagine
I'm going to go back on that, but Boxton, I heard serious people on the left today just now talking about making a plan like Project. I'm assuming you're saying 2025. I feel bad for them. I might re-register as a Dem just so I can vote in their midterm primaries. Why specifically? Is that why specifically does that make you feel bad for them? Elaborate. Did you watch today's episode of the most electrifying series, so electrifying, a Cuban power grid? Subscribe. I have not seen today's. I am. Let's see. I think the last one I saw was. Oh God damn it! I thought we were on my watch later list, but I think I'm 1 day behind or 2 days behind. Something like that. Absolute cinema. We got Samuel. Welcome to the party. Very good to see you. Lomo said, I do not believe in democracy. They're horrible. I only care about a constitutional republic. And obviously, but the context that she's talking about is not capital D democracy in terms of that. That's the major part. She's talking about the lowercase d democracy that everybody gets a say.
I would say this is where the Rawls veils of ignorance is so useful. Is you go imagine you're in a society and you can't know where you're going to fall. Mm-hmm. What are the rules that you want in place?
I want a machine gun.
Well, I want due process.
Agreed.
Right? That's
Define
really
due process.
important. Due process means that you are not.
The process that is due to you in a legal proceeding.
You are assumed not guilty until proven otherwise.
That is not what due process means.
Okay, due process, that's part of all of due process.
Due
that
process
you get, the process
is
of pushing
right to a
against
trial.
allegations against you.
No. Okay, I'm going to clarify for you. Due process refers to the legal process an individual of their particular circumstances are due under the law.
Fair under the law.
That doesn't mean innocent until proven guilty, because due process can refer to civil cases all the same.
Okay.
It can refer to
Then
executive branch
both of these
decisions.
things. I want both of these things then. I want due process and I
now
want
hold
an
on, hold
assumption
on.
of non-guilty.
Once again,
No, she said if we have a clean slate, what principles would you want to establish? Because you don't know where your society is going to end up. So yes, we have due process now, but we're saying if we erased everything that we have, what principles would you want in place?
when you say due process,
Mm-hmm.
it means something different to the left than it means to the right.
Yes, but it also still means some level of both saying we want fair treatment. I agree that
I agree with her that even if we are arguing on what is the process that is due to you, having the argument that there should be a process that is due to you is the first step in making sure that due process is correct, or as close to correct and fair and just as it can be.
Let's pause for a second.
Well, hold on. I agree that principally the left and the right are going to fight about what the way that policy plays out. But at least we can both agree that policy matters. Whereas right now we're moving in a direction where we're saying, well, maybe free speech doesn't matter. And I would say we might have different interpretations of what free speech should be protected.
First and
but
foremost,
free speech must matter.
The best example is the current process due to an illegal immigrant who has.
It's a hypothetical. Heimdall, how would you feel if you didn't eat anything yesterday?
An order for deportation is to be taken into custody and immediately deported. The left argues the process that should be due is a judicial hearing where he can argue his case.
Yes.
But that is not the legal due process for an illegal immigrant.
I don't believe that this is true.
It is absolutely correct. The executive Congress has delineated all powers on immigration through the INA to the executive branch, and that's why the executive branch has talk to Pisco about this. That's why.
So, but Tim, you're proving her point in this moment. The fact that you guys are arguing about what process is due to someone shows that you both agree on the principle that there should be due process. The question just is, what is that due process? Shout out to Mr. Alley Cat. Welcome. So the whole point of due process is so that the police can't just make shit up as it happens. It doesn't mean innocence or trial in all circumstances. Yeah, I think she was, I mean, she was definitely wrong there. But I think that's essentially what she was trying to say. Because again, the hypothetical is like, okay, what are the most important principles to us? So if we go with a blank slate and we don't know if we're going to be, America, like on top of the world, or some third world country, what principles would we want to make sure that us as individuals in this society can flourish? And so she's just saying having due process and the notion of innocence until proven guilty are principles that she would want in her society. Melty Minds, the group that went with Hassan to Cuba, had an Irish rap concert. What? It knocked out the power due to 99% of Cuba having oh my God, 90% of Cuba only having power on is in the 5-star hotels they're staying in. Oh my goodness. Dilly to Hassan. He every single day shows why what Tim suggested at the beginning of this is a very realistic thing. It was just a couple of days ago, they had a New York Times article there. It's like, the left needs to get rid of Hassan Piker. So stuff's moving. Maybe not all in the right direction all at the same time, but stagnation is never good. David said, this is a problem with a subjective language and a speech. I don't, kind of, but not really, because what we are talking about is the principle itself. And so there is an aspect of, we're using the same words. So what do I mean by this versus what do you mean by that? But it is also the concepts that the language is appealing to. So it's not just a semantic thing. There really is a disagreement on what process the left versus the right agrees that an illegal immigrant should have. And so the first thing would be that my state has to recognize that my rights come from God, and are there for non-debatable. Dogma's bad, but all right, that's done history pretty well, right? Box said, would you like to vote for this APAC candidate or that APAC candidate? I mean, this has been politics, guys. You've seen the South Park episode from fucking the early 2000s, the douchebag and the turd sandwich. I mean, I feel like I thought that Trump could come in and shatter that and bring us into a new world where that wasn't the situation. But I was just wrong. He shook things up, but he's just another politician. Someone has had his phone and hotspot signal turned off by his provider, and now he's scared in Cuba and can't stream. Oh, poor baby. Poor baby. How will he live? How will he live? Hospital went out. Goddamn. And champagne socialists. They are the best thing for capitalism. Champagne socialists are the best thing for capitalism. All right. Dive them back in. Wait, I'm not saying they came in illegal, so what right do they have? The right that are enshrined in the Constitution that say all persons, not all citizens. So you have the right to not be murdered just because you were born in a different country. I think that is a good principle. I don't think that if you're in another country that they could just say, well, you don't have any rights, so we can kill you. That's pretty crazy, right? That's why.
To the INA, to the executive branch, and that's why the executive branch has talk to Pisco about this. That's why the executive branch has executive branch courts. There are judges that are not. That's why the left has been saying judicial warrant all the time, because the executive branch can issue an administrative warrant under Congress.
Sure, but the issue is you're saying, look, these are ways that we can interpret due process differently.
That's not interpretation. That's the law right now.
Okay, regardless,
right?
What I'm
but
saying
the law
to you
is an interpretation of what it says. Tim is he's very defensive is the wrong word, but quick on the trigger. Everything is like, ugh. Like, yo, stop trying to win an argument and just have the conversation. We all understand that you can't be seen to be mogged by a liberal chick, but we can see you bugging out over it. So, do your thing. I mean, that's a whole conversation that I can't get into right now. But if you are on my side, then feel free to pick up one of your very own End Dogma t-shirts at theindianjesus.com. We've got a bunch of designs. We got our projection. We got the original, which I'm wearing right now. We got the Me and Morty South Park, the American flag, and of course, stop semantic obfuscation. That is how we win. I agree. Tim is too confrontational. He even jumps into debates between two guests. Yeah, I have a feeling that's why they stopped doing the culture war. Because, it would be Tim hosting and two people. One would be on Tim's side and then the other person. And then the person on Tim's side it would just be Tim versus the liberal, which I didn't hate. But, I think a lot of us saw that. And it's an ugly look. It's an ugly look. Like when you've got Emma Vigilant, when you've got Sam Cedar, when you've got Luke Beasley, when you've got David Pakman, yeah, go for it. But right or wrong, Kyla's here in good faith. She's not trying to beat you at anything. She's just having the conversation. And you're trying to win. Like the wokies do.
Due process differently.
That's not interpretation. That's the law right now.
Okay. Regardless, what I'm saying to you is, are you saying that we don't have due process as a principle, at least, that we fight for? I am saying
that what the left considers.
2/3 of you agree that she is indeed a good addition to the show.
Due process is incongruous with what the law actually says.
What conclusion can we possibly take from that claim, Tim?
Another way to say that is, you've seen me, people are talking, and I'll look, and then Like, you're just saying a bunch of stuff. What conclusion? Land the plane. What is it that you're trying to lay down here? What is it that you are trying to say? Buck said there are real left arguments. We have lost is the C. What? Quantek said, "What the culture war would the culture war make a good comeback if Kyla was on the show and was a host for the liberal side, like a 2v2?" Or I could see that. I could see that. She definitely brings out what we need. This type of pushback. This is exactly what is needed. Lone Wolf said CNN tries to do that to Scott Jennings every time, but they fail so hard. And that's the point, is that we have better ideas. So let them gang up. It's okay, because we have the better ideas. We got Liberty Plus TV. Welcome to the party. So just like both of these people, yep, me too. That is why it is important that we listen. Welcome. Mr. Zeitgeist, I've been going over lots of Kyla discussions. She can get to the matter, but she never knows how to bring them home. Ironic that that's what's Tim doing right now. Like I said, she did this here multiple times, and she did this with Andrew. Maybe what I'm seeing is that she's asking very clear questions and not getting very clear answers. In this moment, that's what I'm seeing. Exactly. The battle of ideas. Two people who are wrong will never get to the truth by arguing. They might, but we could. They might not, but we could. It's almost like there's it's funny because you get a lot of times I get this I don't even know what the word is, but this attitude from people of covering something, and they're like, "Oh, we don't like that. I don't like that." Okay. How does that make it more or less important to the political landscape? I'm not here to just show you the things that you already like. There's plenty of channels that will do that. I'm here to challenge you to be better, because I think that we all can be better. The culture war was going at least until last month. That whole Tenet stuff was way years ago. The last culture war episode, let's see. The last culture war episode was 1 month ago. So I don't think it has much to do with that. Context, another good question might be, did Kyla join the show as a goodwill gesture from the left, or is she just in it for the grift? Probably for the grift. But again, I don't think that really changes the substance of what we can take from it. Probably for the grift, but hey, I mean, get your bag. Get your bag. David said, seems to me, Tim is just saying that the leftist mindset and interpretation is incongruous with the country as founded. Yeah. But she's pushing back. And so you may agree, but can you, and maybe you can, I'm not saying that you can't, can you explicitly articulate why this is the case? We all agree with it. Can you articulate exactly why? Because if not, then that's why we have Kyla here to explain it. Or to force them to explain it. All right, let's dive back in here.
That we
I am
fight
saying
for?
that what the left considers due process is incongruous with what the law actually says.
What conclusion can we possibly take from that claim, Tim?
When a leftist says, I want due process, we must ask them, what do you mean by that? And then you come to discover the left and the right have completely different worldviews on what that word actually
So
means.
your answer is we actually can't do democracy anymore.
No.
Is that your answer?
Okay, Kathy Newman.
Well,
No,
don't call me Kathy Newman.
No, hold on.
Right, I'm with her. I'll come back to this, Alley Cat. I'm with her there. Like, she's trying to get to a conclusion. Give me the thing. And you're just saying a bunch of stuff. And so she's like, okay, so are you trying to say this? That's not what Kathy Newman did. Kathy Newman, if you guys remember, was the lady from the BBC who was interviewing Jordan Peterson. And after everything he said, so what you're saying is something completely different than what he was saying, even though he did land the plane and did give a clear statement. This is not that. And the ad hom is a little sus.
No.
Is that your answer?
Okay, Kathy Newman.
Well,
No,
don't.
Wait, so Alcat said she knows that there would be universal suffrage, but can't get to the problem that it is a flaw with large states and too much state power, not who votes. Okay. Land tax, she doesn't understand a land tax is a tax on imaginary gains. These come and go, but again, the problem is the government spends too much. Not that we need to find fancy new ways to steal. Okay. What are we getting at? I'm in the same position that Kyla is with Tim right now. I'm understanding and agreeing. What are we taking from that? Why would Tim fly guest out and do a 2-hour show when he could do 2 15-minute episodes and make more money? Good point. He definitely, there's clearly passion behind what he does, and I'd never knock him for that. But I think he goes too hard. He does too much work, and he's burnt out and won't take a break, and it's affecting his perception. That's all I see. Well, so I was I always enjoy hearing libtards try to use logic and make an argument. Always makes me laugh. Well, entertainment, if nothing else. Well, we gotta agree with Box. All right, Box, the way I see it, I will take any representation of the left that is not batshit crazy. The bar is on the floor at this point. Yes, exactly. I want that too, because I don't want people feeling like they are so smart when they're not, just because we're voting the same way. I want people to understand what the landscape actually is and what other people actually do believe. When you believe that everyone on the left is just the batshit crazy ones, then you don't have to use your brain. You just like, oh, they're bad, they're stupid, they're evil. We have to do better. Comtech said Tim has been mentioning money issues with the show for a while. Did maybe he bring on Kyla to start monetizing the left as well? Very possible. Very possible. Maybe that's why we have no culture war. Maybe. I don't know, but he's still putting out videos on Fridays. I would much rather take a culture war episode, which would be a lot easier for Tim to produce than 3 of the daytime clips. Like, excuse me, with the videos that he drops throughout the day, I add them all to my watch later playlist. But especially since he's done like the "it really happened," these fucking clickbait titles, which cannot be helping the channel. I'll click on it just to see what it is, see what the story is, and then move on. And I imagine a lot of people do that as well, especially now with those clickbait titles. We'll see. I'm with Guamtech. All right, let's dive back in.
Can't do democracy anymore.
No.
Is that your answer?
Okay, Kathy Newman.
Well, no, don't call me Kathy Newman. Don't call me Kathy Newman. Hold on. I'm trying to say, Tim, stake a position. What are you saying? Because I'm talking about democracy. I'm talking about the values that we hold, which is what?
No, I think
the Constitution. Divorce.
Yeah, thank you. It is democracy, what you are describing, where one side is interpreting the U.S. Constitution differently than the other side.
And we fight about it, and we often have to engage in some level of compromise. That's the point. The conservatives want to conserve, which is their role.
Except when both sides are getting too extreme to the point where it's going to rip this country apart.
I agree.
And they're going to shoot each other.
Right. So then how is the answer, oh, well, things are getting too bad. How is the answer to do worse? I'm not saying I don't understand why you would want to. But you can't say, oh, whoa, this is getting real bad. I don't like where this is headed. But let's be worse. Let's be violent just like them. Those things don't mix. Shout out to Caucasian Debris. Welcome to the party. Sad fun fact, Japanese women's vagina are horizontal, not vertical, like Western women's. How dare you? How dare you? Welcome.
when both sides are getting too extreme to the point where it's going to rip this country apart.
I agree.
And they're going to shoot each other.
I agree. And so the question that I still have to pose as people who want to at least agree with these principles of free speech, of due process, though the way that I think of free speech and the limits that we have around it might be different than you, we still both value free speech. And I say, how do we of course we do. Of course you value free speech.
People
and of course I value
free speech. You don't think so, Jim?
I absolutely do not.
This is what I mean. This is what now Tim is being obtuse in whatever caveat he's about to give. Whatever caveat he's about to give about, well, free speech technically means da. He's the one playing the semantic games. We can get into the specifics, but we understand the general sentiment of free speech, meaning people should be able to express themselves the way that they want to, as long as they're not hurting anybody else. That is the principle that she's talking about, very obviously.
Absolutely do not.
Maybe with the pandemic they want to shut us down, but I think generally the majority.
I know, like, we're going to go to like root philosophical, moral philosophies. A society.
This is what Andrew Wilson does.
A social body with a shared moral worldview.
This is why this is why you can't just have like a normal conversation with Andrew Wilson, because he can't turn off technically. And it's annoying. Like, we get it. You understand things really, really well, and you can break them down and articulate them. But you know what the fuck I mean.
A social body with a shared moral worldview can agree, we all believe in free speech. Then they ratify it in their constitution and arrest anyone who says Jesus is not Lord.
Okay, so then you're saying you don't agree with other people's interpretation of free speech. That doesn't mean that you don't believe in your own version of free speech. What the fuck are you talking about, Tim?
That's not free speech by today's standards. At the same time, the left that says we want free speech has arrested people for hate speech far and wide. There's a guy who got arrested for rap lyrics on Facebook. The right has argued. Okay, and how do average people feel about that? How does the average Democrat voter feel about somebody being arrested for rap lyrics on Facebook? Is that the typical position of the left? Is it? Come on, man. No, it's not. Shout out to Boggs with the $5. Make you holla. Thank you. So very, very much more. We got another one for ya. Thank you, sir. Said, never forget, Tim got his start as a lefty reporting on Occupy Wall Street. Yup. And I mean, that if nothing else, that should show you why it's so important to constantly be rechecking in with the people that you listen to, that you pay attention to, because people change. People change over time. We got the same hat that Tim does. I mean, who doesn't have a black beanie, right? David said, while it has been a both sides thing more recently, the left generally only believes in free speech they agree with. Right. And so that is then our job to argue against their incorrect interpretation of what free speech is. That's politics. Welcome to the game. Speech far and wide. There's a guy who got arrested for rap lyrics on Facebook. The right has argued, no, we should be allowed to say these things. We should be allowed to post rap lyrics. There is not a unified moral view on what free speech is, and there never has been. Sure, but additionally, I will add to that, the Second Amendment has never historically meant that anyone anywhere can carry guns. It meant the federal government couldn't impose a law over the states to stop an individual from carrying a weapon. But routinely in the 1800s, men would ride on horseback in a town, and the sheriff would say, hand over your guns. And so that means that I don't believe in free speech because... What? The view of what is the Constitution shifts dramatically all the time.
Of course.
And the left and the right are so divergent in this, it's extreme.
Sure, but that doesn't mean that these things can't be unified. I guess my question to you is, what's the conclusion from what you're saying?
The right... You're just saying things, bro. What does any of this mean? Right Constitution I would define as the traditional American constitutional republic, and the left constitution is a multicultural democracy. So I don't care what words are used by each other, but they are entirely advocating for two different worlds. I don't care what words you mean, but I'm going to purposely pretend that I don't understand what you're saying as you use particular words. Come on, man. It has come to the point where they are threatening force against each other and exercising that.
Yes.
I believe we should, whatever means necessary to stop this escalation needs to occur. Unfortunately, neither side will back off. That means if Don
said not a Democrat, but I would say if he admits to murder in rap lyrics, then yes. Okay, but that's not getting arrested for what you say. That's getting arrested for murder. Talk about being obtuse. But I think my point stands. Let's say that he didn't murder anybody. And he just said, fuck all the white people. What if that's the lyrics? And they get arrested for that. Would you be for or against that? Exactly.
Donald Trump pulls a move with powerful investors and billionaires to create a new Democrat-Republican spectrum. The progressives are not simply going to say, guess we lose. They're going to get guns and they're going to go shoot people.
Sure.
I don't know what the off-ramp is for all of this, but I can tell you when Pritzker is saying we will arrest and if we can't, we'll destroy you civilly.
Okay.
You swerve the Supreme Court hearing on the town drunk and the ability of the government to take arms from people.
What?
I don't know what you're talking about. So enlighten. If it's missed, then take it.
When Pritzker is saying we will arrest and if we can't, we'll destroy you civilly.
Okay.
Did you know that right now, there's a hilarious story from SFK. Hundreds of millionaires, and this meant like hundreds, this is a large number, there are services that exist to facilitate the exodus from this country right now because of things like that. It is not a question of if you are a political player. There's a fear among high net worth individuals that the Democrats
like yourself, Tim,
are going to Bolshevik your ass.
Sure.
Even if
and on
you
the
are
left,
neutral.
on the left, when Project 2025 came out, it was the exact same type of terror and fear because both
Who was 2025
sides.
going to go after?
But the
Project 2025 had a lot of things that a lot of the left
all right, where are we going with this, Kyla?
viewed
My
as
point
shrinking
is,
of rights, shrinking of rights of
apolitical
vulnerability
wealthy
groups.
individuals are fleeing, not Republicans, because they fear that the Democrats are going to swing the hammer against anyone.
And they fear it because
both sides are going to be further radicalized.
No, they
Yes,
fear it because,
yes.
no, they fear it because of the ballot measure in California, because of what's going on in Washington State, and because there's Ro Khanna and Bernie Sanders talking about that same kind of policy nationwide.
So this is the thing that I'm getting confused by. You keep on saying this situation at hand and that both parties are going to ramp up and ramp up and ramp up, and we're basically engaging in like brinksmanship. And I'm saying to you, what's the conclusion that we take from that?
Civil war?
Well,
Yes, exactly. Where, and then? So everything's ramping up, and then?
my conclusion is I don't want a civil war because I don't want a bunch
I said, shit, me too. Shout out to Seth Thunder, said, that's not the government of the kingdom of the disease. Are you dumb or not dumb? I'm assuming y'all talking to each other. Welcome.
from that.
Civil war?
Well, my conclusion is I don't want a civil war because I don't want a bunch of mostly young men dying for this. I think that that's the worst outcome. I look at this and I go, this is the issue. That's not the answer because both sides
Then what
insist.
is?
Well, one of the things that can't be the answer is insisting that it's just the left or insisting that it's just the right. That
So
can't be the
who's
answer.
going to lay?
Hey, I'll give Kyla a dilly for that. The tribalism of you have to be on the left or you have to be on the right, and that everybody on the left is evil and everybody on the right is evil, or everyone on the other team is evil. That's bad. That doesn't help anybody.
It's just the left or insisting that it's just the right. That
So
can't be the
who's
answer.
going to lay down their arms?
I'm trying to.
So the answer is fairly obvious, isn't it?
It's actually not because
You
the
think
future
that these
isn't
Trump
set.
officials are going to be like, guess I go to jail?
No. I don't think Trump officials are going to change, but there might be noble, meaningful, good conservative and
after J6.
Republicans. That's terrifying that you believe that and you've been supporting that side.
What? So Tim said that there are no people on the conservative side who want this to end in any other way than civil war since J6 happened? What? Maybe I'm dumb. Let's hear that again. Maybe I'm dumb.
Because
You
the
think that
future
these
isn't
Trump
set.
officials are going to be like, guess I go to jail?
So again, talking about, who's going to lay down their arms? I was under the impression that we were talking about the voters, the people, that we expect the politicians to constantly be playing the politician game. It's up to the people to understand that is an aspect of life, and then our culture is underneath that and very important. But okay, fine. So if he's asking who's going to lay down their weapons first, and you're talking about the politicians, nobody. But what do the politicians need? Support from the people. So it should be, I am going to lay my weapons down. Not, well, if you're going to do it and I hate it, I'm going to do it too. You can feel that way, but then you can't pretend like you're not trying to make things worse. You can't act like you're not a provocateur if you're saying, well, they provocate? Well, you know what I mean? They did it, so now we're gonna do it. I'm not about that. Maybe you are. That's totally fine, but I'm not. Ooh, we got a hungry dance. I guess the peanut butter wasn't enough. He is hungry today. Otherwise, media said, I agree. I would not trust the Dems to not plot behind our backs. They arrested people who were not even at J6. True. Okay. And so then, you agree with Tim to just start doing political violence, or what? I feel like I feel like I am a Kyla right now. I'm not. What conclusion are we taking? We're saying a lot of things. What is the conclusion? What is the point of what we're talking about? Like I said, it looks like Kyla was laying down her arms, but then she started talking Italian again. I mean, hey, these Italian ladies. Oh my God! Oh my God! It's my weakness. Hey, we got the Big Daddy Pod. Welcome to the party. Well, it depends on the context of what we're talking about. We could be me and Morty. We could be the people watching the stream. We could be people in America. I don't know. What are we? What's the context?
It's actually not, because
you
the
think
future
that these Trump officials are going to be like, guess I go to jail?
No. I don't think Trump officials are going to change, but there might be noble, meaningful, good conservative and Republicans.
J6. Okay, so David said, Tim is saying because of the lawfare around J6, where some people were jailed with no due process, the conservatives cannot lose or risk prison or death. I don't see that. I don't see that. Do you guys agree with that? I don't think, again, I'm not saying we can't get there. I just don't think we're that far gone yet. I think this is the fear mongering that we see on, social media, the news, and doom scrolling and all that. Shout out to Tree Rogie. Welcome to the party. Said Seth, you're a mosquito. Well, he said, no, I will not do a peaceful protest or a violent protest. If the Dems are in power, they will do mass arrest. Yeah. You're saying we have better arguments? Who is we? The people who have the better arguments. What do you mean? If we have better arguments, then we argue those things, and the conclusion comes out that the other argument doesn't make sense. Like a conversation or a debate. What is Liberty saying? The left-right paradigm has really fucked people up. I remember the right also being against free speech and due process with the Patriot Act. Yep. The pendulum does swing.
There might be noble, meaningful, good conservative and Republicans.
J6.
That's terrifying that you believe that and you've been supporting that side.
Who said supporting what side?
You are obviously supporting Trump. You obviously support conservatives. This
what
is
does that have
obviously
to do
true
with what we're talking about?
Because you said that none of this matters. Any rule of law, any values of what we've built our system and Constitution on. Yes, we are talking about these things. I'm talking
And again, I think if we're conflating the average person. If you are in the game of politics and you're playing the game of politics, I agree with you that things are getting ramped up. My point is that we don't have control over the people above us. We only have control over people, yourself, and the people that you can communicate directly with. That's all I'm saying.
I'm saying there are two distinct factions that are ready to tear each other to shreds, and nothing's going to stop it.
And I'm saying, if that.
So let's just not do anything because, like, okay, fine. If you want to just sit with your head in the sand and wait for everybody to kill each other, then go for it. But some of us are willing to put in some work to try to prevent that.
That is the exact belief that makes it inevitable. So. And both sides are saying that right now.
Some things are
I'm
true.
trying to say,
yup, shout out to Kyla.
So nothing's going to stop it.
And I'm saying, if that is the exact belief that makes it inevitable. So, and both sides are saying that right now.
Some things are
the black-pilled mindset. If we go over to dating and talk about being black-pilled, oh my God, what a fucking loser. But in politics, oh, it's been, the world has never seen tumult like this.
Come on, man.
I'm trying to say, I want to put my gun down.
Yeah.
That's why I talk to you guys.
No, I get what you're saying. I just think the reality is it's going to happen because that is the life cycle.
Okay, again, so then what do you do? It sounds like what you're saying, my confusion, and it sounds like Kyla's exact same confusion, is okay, if they push this for 10 years and cannot be ignored. And then, what does that mean? What do you mean? Because that sounds like you're calling for political violence. What does that mean?
Of a country.
Listen, not a single Republican will ever tolerate trans kids. Yeah. It's not happening.
They don't have to in their state.
I just
they
want to
don't
make this
have to
point.
in their state.
Let me give you an example that I've cited quite a bit. Oklahoma has banned abortion outright.
Yep.
Colorado has passed abortion to the point of birth for any reason, elective.
Mm-hmm.
A potential scenario that I've given would be a woman is 6 months pregnant and she lives not too far from the border of Colorado. She decides, so in her mind, she says, this man is abusive and I had this child with him. It's going to be a world of nightmarish pain and it could be harmful to the child. I can't bring a child in this world. So she flees. The man's perspective is, I am not abusive. I've never touched her. And she just kidnapped my child to kill him and she doesn't need to.
And yeah, being optimistic but preparing for the worst are not mutually exclusive. You can understand that, oh, this is going to hell in a handbasket, without being like, because it's going to hell in a handbasket, well, whatever, let's just start killing our enemies. Yeah, that does not follow. I mean, he said the people who tried to stop the communication have been abused. Okay, so again, my question to you, sir, is what does that mean? What do I do with this information? What do I do next? I have heard what you're saying. I agree with what you're saying. My goals are aligned with your goals. What now? Because otherwise you're just complaining. And fair, you're allowed to complain. But we've got the complaints down. What do I do with this information? Left and right, I mean, that is one thing that usually brings the sides together, but this one is not doing that. Well, so what is the average Dem voter? Where is the average Dem voter? The average Dem voter in NYC was violent to Cam Higbee. He was just filming and asking questions, and lefty violence ensued. There for free speech? No, I don't think they are. I think that is the conversation worth having, that we bring up situations like this and show how this is not in line with what they claim to be. So the My Media said, vote in politicians that will throw these people in jail. Sounds good to me. Sounds good to me. But you understand how that's a far cry away from talking about political violence. And I didn't necessarily think you were saying that, but that was the most rational conclusion from what you were saying, which is why this needs to be articulated. It's not good enough to just have the feelings. We have to be able to articulate it so that it can become reality. What did I miss? David said they jailed anti-abortion protesters, normal people, not just politicians. Historically, conservatives fight for your right to be in opposition to them, and leftists want to silence opposition. Mm-hmm. And so we should... Again, you keep saying things that I already agree with. I know that. I agree with you. You're not giving me any new information. You're just saying, the left is bad. The left does this. The left is that. The left is... I know. I agree with you.
Touched her, and she just kidnapped my child to kill him, and she doesn't need to. So what happens when she seeks to cross that border to get an abortion? You have two states with polar opposite worldviews. Mm-hmm. It will not be tolerated. We already saw, I think it might have been Arkansas, they tried to have a woman hunted down because she fled the state with a friend to get an abortion. And they said, it might not have been, I can't remember which state it was. They said that it was a conspiracy to break the law, and therefore they needed to stop her.
Sure.
At what point? I mean, maybe the argument...
In case you missed the beginning of what he said, because I stopped it, he always uses the example of Oklahoma banned abortion, and Colorado has, full abortion. And so what happens if there's a couple in Oklahoma, and the girl doesn't want it, and they get pregnant, the girl doesn't want it, and she's heading to the border to get an abortion in Colorado, and the dude doesn't want the abortion. So we have conflicting state values. But that's nothing new. And that's what we want. Is it not? Do we not want different states to have different laws and different cultures? I thought that was the whole thing.
Is that a kid gets taken by a stranger and brought to Washington to get a sex change?
I mean, it sounds like we're already there, Liberty. I don't know. Sounds like we're already there.
That a kid gets taken by a stranger and brought to Washington to get a sex change, and the parents go, well, that's life, I guess. I don't see that as being a reality. I think the parents are going to be like, lock and load, mother. We're going to town.
Sure, I agree.
And so again, I agree. Dave's explaining why the right feels it cannot lose or will result in civil war, but cannot lose by what means? Like again, I'm just trying to I'm trying to make a point. So I know you are not saying this, but I'm just trying to make a point that if I didn't know you, and let's say somebody randomly came into this and just read this, is it insane for them to think that you're calling for violence? And so if that's not what you mean, and I know you to some extent, and I don't fully understand what it is that you're calling for, then that's a problem. We need to know what it is. What is our goal? We can't have a shared goal if we don't know what the goal is. Identifying the problem absolutely is the first step. 100%. But then we got to figure out what to do.
The issue is,
I'm not even saying I have all the answers, but I'm establishing that we are in a state that's the place we're in. Okay, what do we do? And I'm saying that act just like the left, as Tim just said, is not I'm not going to do that.
that the idea that our country, like it sounds like what you're saying is the conclusion that you're saying is our country isn't going to continue to exist as a democracy as we've known it. And I'm saying
it isn't a democracy.
Whatever version of America that we have now.
No. I'm not making a semantic debate over constitutional republicanism. I'm saying since Trump's election, we have not functioned in any real democracy. And one could argue
that is true. Oh, shout out to Box with the $2. Thank you so very, very much. Do we have anyone over on, we got Tree Rogue. You come on over to, there you go. Tree Rogue and Lone Wolf and Caucasian Debris. You guys come on over to the landscape stream. It is past the 2-hour mark, and I think I'm going to shut that shit down. We got 4 of you over there. Go hit the link in the description and come on over. I'm going to give you 3 minutes. You got 3 minutes to come on over. I am shutting down the vertical stream.
I'm saying since Trump's election, we have not functioned in any real democracy. And one could argue that we haven't since the liberal economic order. But my point is Donald Trump wins and they claimed for years he was propped up by Russia, even arguing the votes were flipped by Russia, and then launched an investigation and ultimately impeached him. Then when Trump loses in 2020, the right says Joe Biden, the Democrats stole the election. There is no belief on either side there's a functioning democracy right now.
Sure. But part of that.
Sorry, I missed the last part. What do you say?
The right says Joe Biden, the Democrats stole the election. There is no belief on either side there's a functioning democracy right now.
Sure. But part of that.
I mean, do you see it? Did you see it on the screen? Then probably.
Comes down to we are under threat from things when you look at Russiagate, for example, there weren't connections that could be made to Trump, but there were, I believe, 12 Russian individuals that were arrested that had found to hack multiple sites and that were actually engaging.
And how many Ukrainians did we arrest for manipulating the election in favor of Clinton?
I'm not sure.
Hey, that's better than going out and killing your political enemies. Anybody disagree? Anybody disagree that sitting around having endless debate and changing nothing is better than having a civil war where we go out and kill people? Just saying. Shout out to Dick Johnson. Welcome to the party. We did hit the goal and already got his peanut butter. But don't forget, every new dono is not only another treat, but another push-up. All right.
How many Ukrainians did we arrest for manipulating the election in favor of Clinton?
I'm not sure.
Zero.
Do you know the answer?
Zero.
Well, hold on. Did they get investigated?
Yes, and instead they arrested Paul Manafort instead of the Ukrainians.
Was he guilty?
And then Paul Manafort?
Was he? I don't know. I'm not familiar with the
again,
case.
It's going to fall back to when the Democrats took power, knowing that they've been propped up by the Ukrainians, they arrested a Trump ally and then told us he was guilty.
Well, Mother Mamina said the culture in states should not be killing babies and giving kids sex changes. Agreed. How do we get there, though? Do we kill the and I'm not saying you're saying this. I'm being hyperbolic to make my point. Do we kill the people who want that, or do we make better arguments so that the people who are voting then understand our perspective? And because we know that generally a sane human does not want to kill a baby or give kids sex changes, when we can present it and articulate it in the right way instead of just saying, "Oh, well, it's healthcare." Then we change people's minds. It's slow. It happens on an individual basis. But if you have a better idea, any of you, I am happy to hear it.
Knowing that they've been propped up by the Ukrainians, they arrested a Trump ally.
Okay, so let's just go all cry and stuff.
And then told us he was guilty. And if you're a Trump supporter, you're going to say, that's BS.
Sure.
No one will believe it.
Sure, but you already basically said after J6, democracy is basically
Before
over.
J6. I mean, J6 was a product of people believing democracy was over.
Sure. And so the question is, the conclusion cannot be, and maybe you just want to, I guess, toss the country to the wolves and say it's over. I don't think that that's what we should fight for.
No. That's what it sounds like. But every time we say, well, no, that's not what we're saying. So what are you saying?
Because a lot of good people will die if we do.
I don't think it's over. I just think this has to play itself out ultimately. And again, going back to what Tim said,
story here.
If a president of the United States, along with his CIA director and other ICs, are making up manufactured intelligence to try to prosecute someone who's trying to get elected as president, I don't think we have a
democracy. I mean, they raided Trump's home. We don't have a democracy. They fabricated evidence and took pictures of it. We don't have a democracy.
Were they investigated and found guilty for it and tried? Can we look that up?
No, they won't
went
be.
to Trump's house,
that's the point.
Went through his daily logs, found a series of things they determined to be classified, and then put fake classification papers on top of it.
What? Oh, hell no.
It's because she's not blonde, isn't it? It's because she's not blonde. Bro, she is slamming. I don't care. I would tear that apart. Hey, shout out to Trey Williams. Welcome. Said, I mean, while I'm not for abortion, I don't think it should be taken away, but I do think there should be guidelines to it. And exactly. So we have somebody like Trey who is saying like, okay, I'm not, pro-abortion, but I do think it should be there. And it is up to us, we, the people who believe that it is wrong in all circumstances, to present the case for it being illegal, for it being wrong in all cases. But also, Part of having democratic aspects of your constitutional republic is that not everybody's going to agree, which is totally fine. It's totally fine. I have a strong feeling that a lot of this is going to bubble up, and that, you know, the after Trump is gone, a lot of people are just going to stop caring. I think you're going to see a reversion to people looking to do other things. People are tired. People are burnt out. I think people are looking for a reason to stop caring about politics, but they feel like Trump is such a, you know, evil that they can't. So I feel like half of this might take care of itself. Oh, I love a small nose. Oh, that small nose, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Lone Wolf said saying the right is in power is such a disingenuous argument. Why is the right running into any opposition against what they want to pass if they're truly in power? The left doesn't like using their brain. I disagree. I don't think that in power means having ultimate authority. But the right wing, the Republican Party, is holding offices of power. I don't. That's not an opinion, right? You ain't see me. You ain't see me in action, bro. You ain't see me in action, bro.
Found a series of things they determined to be classified and then put fake classification papers on top of it, took a picture of it.
Okay, and
then told the American people Trump had classified documents. They were his daily briefings.
I mean, come on. You can tell me you wouldn't hit that? Come on, get the fuck out of here. Oh, got it.
These people are evil.
Ask her about this.
Just the left? I'm sorry.
I didn't say just the left. I said the people who raided Trump's home and fabricated evidence to put him in prison are evil.
Sure. Yeah. If that occurred in the way that you describe it, yes, I would be opposed to these things. I'm not granting you that necessarily at all.
When did we ever have Ukraine Gate? Why didn't we spend $30 million on a Mueller probe to investigate the Ukrainians who interfered in the election?
Wasn't
Donald Trump wasn't the only presidential candidate? 2017. It's a good question. Donald Trump was the only presidential candidate whose campaign was boosted by a
Davey Havoc looks like a fucking chick. She's the actual chick version.
Officials from a former Soviet bloc country. Ukrainian government officials tried to help Hillary Clinton to undermine Trump by publicly questioning his fitness for office. They also
Hey, whoa. Simping is energy towards that girl to try to get her to like me. Observing that I find her attractive is not simping. Simply if I was giving her money, or if I was trying to, tag her on Twitter or whatever. That is simping. Oh, stop simping for Asians, bro. That's what Box thinks. Right? Exactly, King. Thank you. Shout out to Cheddar Steve over on Rumble. Welcome to the party. Walt Disney had an 11-inch wang. True story. How did it feel? Got him!
To help Hillary Clinton to undermine Trump by publicly questioning his fitness for office. They also disseminated documents implicating a top Trump aide in corruption and suggested they were investigating the matter, only to
I'm Asian, simp for me, that motherfucker!
Back away after the election, and they helped Clinton's allies research damaging information on Trump and his advisors, a Politico investigation found. Why didn't we ever get any of that? And you're right.
That's a good question.
Yep.
Why didn't Trump do that? He was clearly willing to weaponize the DOJ now.
Correct. Trump should have locked Hillary up, and he didn't do it because he's weak.
Well, he should have not locked Hillary up.
He liked Hillary.
And fair. I think that was maybe a weak is not the word that I would use. I think it was a little bit more strategic. I think in this day and age, if the lock her up thing came up, then that bitch would be in jail. But this is almost acting like not locking up a former presidential candidate is weakness. In 2016, like that's not what the world was like. You're in fantasy land to think that would have been a positive thing. That anyone besides the very core base, which is a lot bigger now than it was back then. Relax. She's pregnant and about to have a baby, so chill the fuck out. Yes. Oh, he should have locked her up. That's weakness. That's a stupid take. Trey said Trump has spent the last 3 elections saying everything was rigged against him, but he won 2 out of 3. I think he won 3 out of 3, but personally, it just felt like he was building in an excuse in case he lost. Probably, yeah. I mean, but that doesn't mean that there wasn't shady shit. Let's not pretend there wasn't shady shit going on, especially in 2020.
And he didn't do it because he's weak.
Well, he should have not locked Hillary up.
He likes Hillary.
The answer
Yeah.
isn't we should throw
Lock him
away
up.
due process. The actual answer
said
is
that? Who
we
said that?
must demand due process.
Who said anything about throwing away due process?
Well, locking her up assumes that she wouldn't get fair process.
Criminally charged Hillary
Why
Clinton.
would why would locking her up assume that she wouldn't get fair we're saying she should be locked up because she should be locked up and would be found so in a court of law. Not just lock her up because fuck that bitch. Is that what you thought? Is that what you thought, Kyla? That you thought that we wanted to lock Hillary up because we just didn't like her? Actually, I can't say we. I voted for her. I'm sorry, I didn't know about it. But now I want her locked up. But you think it's just because, like that? Yeah, exactly. That would be lawfare. No, locking people up for the crimes that they committed is not lawfare. But even there, there is enough gray area with wartime stuff. There's enough there to be like, okay, well, you know, you were what was her position at the time? Whatever it was, and that can I can understand how in the political landscape that we have, I'm not saying on a reasonable basis between normal people, on the political way, in the same way that Fauci is scot-free. That Benghazi could be chalked up to bad decision making on info that we didn't have, or some bullshit like that. But the fucking acid washed servers, clear as day. Yep, I don't think any of us did. Well, so that's another distortion being made of in power. When the left says the right is in power, they are implying that the right holds enough of a majority to pass what they want. Maybe, but Box, tell me if I'm wrong, but I don't think that that's what Box meant. So until somebody here says that, we're going to take people at their word. But yeah, she was Secretary of State. Thank you. But yeah, that's a position where it's like you even though you and I wouldn't agree that, well, this is enough of a reason to let her off. The way that politics works, it would be. Not the fucking servers.
Throwing away due process.
Well, locking her up assumes that she wouldn't get fair process.
Criminally charged Hillary Clinton over the emails, yeah.
Sure, and then if she is found guilty in a court of law when the jury of her peers,
So I'm advocating for
Which
due
she would
process.
be.
So am I.
Yes, that she
in the
should be
case of the Russia
charged.
hoax, what happened is that many people were charged. There were serious issues with Russia. That was found, but there was no tight connection that could be tied to Trump, which is why he
Right,
wasn't
Russia
arrested
didn't
for
help
it.
Trump.
Is
So-
that
so
good
where's our
or
due
bad?
process?
No.
Can we have
He
due
was
process here, Kyla?
impeached over that.
He was impeached over the call to Ukraine, which was related to Russia.
And Hillary Clinton was never held accountable for classified information on a personal server.
Can we get our
Did the
due
impeachment
process?
go
Can we
through?
get our
Did he
due
stay
process on
president?
Ukraine?
I'm not. Did he stay president until Joe Biden got elected, or did the
What does that
impeach-
mean?
Well, he got impeached. Did he get?
Yeah.
Was he removed as the
He was-
president?
Kyla, you don't think you would have remembered if Donald Trump was removed from office? Stupid. I'll chalk that up to just being in the moment and just being overstimulated. Was he removed?
What?
Do you think that you would be able to forget that?
Until Joe Biden got elected, or did the
What does that
impeach-
mean?
Well, he got impeached. Did he get?
Yeah.
Was he removed as the
He wasn't
president?
convicted, no.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
but-
What does that have to do with saying he got impeached?
Well, that's saying
We didn't say he was
people
removed. We said he was
people can
impeached.
investigate. People can make moves in office to do different things through legitimate actors, and sometimes they fail.
Look,
and
I
that
can-
is
Yeah.
either a sign.
I'm going to step right back and just say this. There
Hillary
are two
Clinton
political
is not a
factions in this
failure.
country that are tearing each other's throats out. Nothing's going to stop them. One side is hell-bent on engaging in psychotic, evil lawfare, and the other side is crop dusting it.
You have-
And again, I agree with the assessment of what's going on and what's going wrong. I disagree that means we should either throw our hands up or behave like they do, or just assume that there is nothing to be done, so cry. None of those are good enough for me, even if it is damn near inevitable If you are, I mean, think of any other situation. Think of any other situation. Let's say you're skiing and you're in an avalanche, in an avalanche, and you're way out there, and the snow is fucking 10 feet deep, and you're probably gonna fucking die. They don't know you're out there. They don't have signs out. You're, on the double black diamond, whatever. Are you just gonna not fight for your life because you're probably going to die? If you are, that's pretty gay.
How many people do we have live right
I
now?
haven't said anything this whole time. I just want to say, guys, I think this is just a waste of time because it's obvious that we have a uniparty. You can look at Donald Trump, who campaigned that he's not going to start any wars. He started a huge war. You can say that he was going to get rid of all the illegal immigrants. Now he has all these multinational corporations saying we can't get rid of the illegal immigrants. So we have a uniparty. So this idea that it's right versus left is just meant to make us argue on podcasts. So it's really not true.
I don't fully agree. I get what you're saying, Liberty, but we have to understand that as dark as that is, the system, like, nothing has changed. Nothing has changed in the system. Like, this is always the way the system has worked, or at least for as long as it's been relevant. So we can still separate the fact that these are people more evil than we ever could have understood, without being stuck and not understanding the balance, the necessity, the lesser of two evils. It is what it is. It is what it is. Bunkmaster said that seems reasonable. She should have known not to startle an illegal. They're going through a stressful time right now. What did I miss? I'm gonna assume you got it. These people have been in charge since before the country. Continuing to play within their rules just seems kind of insane. How do you vote your way out of this? Well, you don't. But you can vote yourself away from the worst version of it. Do you think that do you think that your life would be worse right now if Kamala was president? Because I do. Actually, let's put that to a poll. Would your life be worse if Kamala had won? A shout out to Drifter. I'm about to shut down the vertical stream, so make sure you check out the link in the description. The party rages on the landscape. Come on through. Shout out to Avery. Welcome. Very good to see ya. So we're talking about the idea that Liberty Plus said these people have been in charge since before the country. Continuing to play within their rules seems kind of insane. How do you vote your way out of this? And I said, I don't think that you do vote your way out of it. But we can vote ourselves away from the worst version of it. That's where I'm at. Thank you so very, very much. All right, diving back in here.
Now he has all these multinational corporations saying we can't get rid of the illegal immigrants. So we have a uniparty. So this idea that it's right versus left is just meant to make us argue on podcasts. So it's really not true.
Alex,
I'm just telling you.
I disagree. I think they're giving up.
Would you take the uniparty over a radical left who wants to lock up their political opponents?
Have a good one. Peace out. And again, shutting down the stream on the vertical side. So only the landscapers.
A radical left who wants to lock up their political opponents.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
Would you?
Would I take the uniparty?
I'm giving you choices.
Trump has not prosecuted anybody for, Anthony Fauci.
Hold on. They just issued a subpoena to come the other day. There's 130 subpoenas that went out over the grand conspiracy against Trump.
He's also subpoenaing Jerome
No,
Powell.
but nobody's going to get arrested.
Yeah, but not Anthony Fauci. I mean, they've even come out and said that there's side effects to the vaccine, even though it is safe and effective. YouTube. So my point is, nobody's gone to jail for that. And then on top of that, I know people within the Department of Justice that actually tried to go after the people that put together the January 6th committee, and they don't even want to. The DOJ is not going to prosecute the DOJ.
Maybe it's just one big happy family tree, son.
So nobody thinks that or rather, everybody thinks that your life would be worse if Kamala won. So even though shit is shitty right now, it could be worse. That's what we're voting for. That is the true nihilistic reality, existential reality. I don't know. Either way, that you're not going to get some fucking utopia. That's not how life works. But just because there's no possibility of a utopia doesn't mean you don't try to get as close to your ideals as you can. Otherwise, what the fuck are you doing? What gets you out of bed if you think that just everything is the worst it's ever going to be and nothing can ever be better? And why get up? If I genuinely felt that way, I would neck myself. What is the fucking point? Much worse should be flying in illegals first class from all over the world still. Bingo. Exactly. So you don't vote yourself out of this system. You understand, you're in a corrupt fucking system where nobody gives a flying fuck about you. So you look out for yourself. And looking out for yourself means looking out for your close community, your family, then your township, then so on and so on and so on and so on. That's what you do. Or you can cry.
The DOJ is not going to prosecute the DOJ.
Maybe
so
it's just
all
one big
Look,
happy family tree, son.
John
Yeah,
Eastman's
that's what it
emails are horrifying. If you read through John Eastman and J6, he is explicitly saying, hey, Trump, by the way, I need to be on the pardon list. And multiple aides have already testified that they told John Eastman that what you're doing is illegal, but what's happened to him? Nothing. I agree that there are problems and that we need to correct the system, but the answer to this isn't just accept more erasure of our liberal rights.
No one said that.
I'm not saying that you're saying that. The problem is that your conclusion is there's nothing we can do about it. But I guess I would ask, how many people are alive right now?
27,000.
Okay. 27,000 people is a lot of people. That means your voice really matters.
Sure.
So,
and even here, we've got 13 of you. 13 of you. Like, that certainly isn't 20K or whatever the fuck he just said. But you guys are real fucking people with real votes that actually matter in this society. Yeah, we're trying to grow, obviously. But it all matters. All these fucking grains of sand make the heat. Shout out to Avery with the big 5. Thank you. So very much. We'll move this out of the way so we can see. Oh, there he is. Take it. What are you doing? Take it. Bro, what is he fucking doing? Thank you. So very much. Are you more open to hosting panels now? It will be fun. It'll also be balls deep in Ukraine if that psycho was president. Very true. I mean, nothing has changed about if the vibes are there and there's a lot of discussion, then we'll open the panel. But you can. Sorry, I mean, I know you like it, so I won't be offended if you are over on Confluence. Oh my goodness, we got real Black Betty in the building. Thank you so much for the $2 make you holla. He's like, no, he knows exactly what the fuck is happening. He hears that shit, and he hears you go, oh! He's like, food? Yeah, see? All right, I won't tease you. You'll get a freebie, but just a tiny freebie. He knows, because he can't hear everything is through my headphones, except for the soundboard. So it's silent, but me screaming, and then every once in a while, the sounds. That's all he hears. Black Betty, bam, bam. Thank you so very, very much, guys. I appreciate it. Adding to the push-up count. Oh, Jesus. Trey said, you're way more rational with these stances than most of the people on your side of the argument. I know. That's why I'm trying to spread it everywhere, because I'm right about shit. I know I'm right about shit. It just, if you want more people that disagree with your politics to be like me, share the video, like the video, comment on the video, be in the chat, give whatever you can. All of that stuff helps. And it's not for me. It's for everyone. It's for America. I don't know how else I can show you my dedication. I got the Hindu Trump to show you guys how much I care about this. It's not just a joke. Some real shit. Some real fucking shit. Let's dive back in as Avery and Real Black Betty keeping the party raging.
1,000 people is a lot of people. That means your voice really matters.
Sure.
So what can 20,000 people theoretically do if they want to further strengthen actual liberal institutions?
I think they should understand.
I can tell you got that trophy on.
Go to Timcast.com and join our Discord community.
Go to Casper.com, get some coffee.
Yeah,
you see coffee prices are going through the roof because of the war, Tim? Did you see that? Has it affected Casper?
Our prices are unaffected.
Okay, good. Well,
you can get some Big Booty Latina Love Potion at the same low price it's always been.
Casper.com.
No, I think Alex, I'll give you a little pushback. The reason why they're dropping the mass deportation thing is because they're losing Hispanic voters. This is what the intern.
No.
This is what they're saying, bro.
It's because of when this first started. He literally said, "We're not going to
farm workers and hospital and hotel workers."
And Trump owns hotels,
and he's got allies and businessmen who are like, "Hey, we want to do this."
Yeah.
You also have the political class saying the Hispanic vote for Republicans has dropped dramatically because they don't like the ICE raids and DHS. That's why they pulled out of Minnesota.
I was right that those ICE raids didn't look good.
I don't agree that means it's a uniparty. I do agree that it means that Trump's got special interests.
Dude, you know what's a
True. What did I just miss? We had thank you, sir. But we got Dylan Soup. Welcome to the party. Very good to see you, sir. And Real Black Betty again. I am not 20 years old, so I will not be getting a sound. No. Especially because of the fact that A, Sneeko uses it, and B, Hassan just added it to his soundtrack or soundboard. So no, thank you. That would be in bad company. But thank you. So very, very much. How many push-ups are we at? I think we're at 45, right? Well, we'll see that. I think we're at 45.
That means it's a uniparty.
11 out of
I do agree that
90. Yeah. Oh, Jesus. 45.
Is that Trump's got special interests.
Dude, you know what's a uniparty? They can't even pass a SAVE Act, Tim. They can't even, no, I'm not even kidding. They can't even pass the most simplistic thing. It's just you have to show an
bills in American history.
And they can't even pass that because there's Republicans who are saying, oh, I don't know.
Well, there's no political will for it because like they're tying it to voter fraud, which is just like everyone.
No. There's no will for it because I agree with like the Republicans and the Democrats largely are like we like the status quo.
Yeah,
so we don't want to change
rock the boat, but just like the DOJ is not going to.
But again,
the DOJ.
This is to the progressives' point. This is why progressives would say we need to do things that rally against. Like the progressive argument, right, is to say this isn't left versus right. The progressives reject the Democrat Party. They say we need a complete revival where the power actually shifts back to the people.
I'm going to lay it out for you. It's very simple.
They just also want to trans the kids.
So a guy in a black hoodie with the black mask on.
All right. She also they want to trans the kids. Self-awareness is probably the number one thing that the left needs.
Up and says the government is full of corrupt politicians. And they go, here, brother.
What?
In a black hoodie with the black mask on comes up and says the government is full of corrupt politicians. And they go, here, brother. And then he starts waving a red and black flag. And he says the military-industrial complex has been waging war, killing civilians without cause for generations. And I go, yeah, man, I hear you. And he goes, we got to change that. And I say, yeah, I agree. What can we do? And he goes, we got to put in a candidate who's going to put a stop to this corruption, who's going to fix our voting systems and make sure that people's voice is heard. And I say, well, I'm in. What do I do? Vote for the guy who wants to cut this girl's tits off. And I go, huh?
Well,
and then I walk out.
Right. So why it should be very easy to defeat that argumentation to sane people. But we have to do it. We're all trans kids on stolen land. How does it feel? Are you dysphoric?
The
it's just crazy to me that your number in your pluralistic moral system of what matters most in voting, you're like, no, I couldn't.
Bro, she's hot. What is wrong with you, gays?
Imagine you could overnight we could wave a wand and you could vote.
I'm not saying she's a 10. I'm saying she's hot.
Away corruption, but
it's easy with the end. Like, I'm right next to you.
We're transing Phil specifically. How about
like just instead of take it away from the trans topic, like how about people that are like, we don't respect property rights and we're going to expropriate your property?
Yeah, we shouldn't work with communists. I agree. Right, in the same way that we shouldn't work with like Nick Fuentes, who is a theocrat.
Yeah, well, that's fair enough. But that's exactly what the progressives want to do. That's what AOC wants to do. That's what Ro Khanna's talking about. That's what they're doing in California.
AOC is hated by the communists because she moderated and does a lot of bipartisan bills and is increasingly trying to do so.
Just because the communists have a problem with her doesn't mean that she wouldn't institute policies that the communists want. First of all, second of all, that would also destroy the economy.
I don't believe that AOC would ever have any political will behind her to actually
Bernie Sanders would.
I don't know. I mean, yes, she's definitely solid. 8 is strong. I'd say strong 7. Strong 7. Depends on how tall she is. Shorter the better for, like me. But shout out to Avery again with the big 5. Thank you. Moody. He's still eating the last one. Here, bro, take it. You don't want it? Yeah, you want it. Thank you. That Alex is crazy, but I still respect him. More push-ups. Keep this party going. Like the stream or you're an incel. Thank you. Very, very much. I'm Real Black Betty again. Thank you, guys. Said, what's her rating on what wiki feet? I don't even. I don't know. That's y'all. I don't know about all that. Anyway, thank you so very, very much.
For the economy.
I don't believe that AOC would ever have any political will behind her to actually
Bernie Sanders would do that.
No. Bernie
Sanders and Bernie Sanders and Ro Khanna are talking about a wealth tax, which they say it's only. They say it's only.
Their taxing system.
They say no, but
that's not going to private property.
Listen, stop. They say like, oh, it's only for the billionaires and billionaires because Bernie's a millionaire, but that will cause capital flight. And then it will go get transferred on down to people that have a house that's worth $1 million.
If you don't pay your property taxes, what happens?
They seize your property.
Exactly. So you could just argue that that's already communism right there, that every year I have to pay taxes on my house that I already own.
Property taxes are state taxes, and you can move if you don't like it. I'm talking about a federal tax. That's why I mentioned Bernie Sanders and Ro Khanna.
Sure. So
Fair point.
This is where like federalism of America compared to like Canada is really cool, and that like different states can have these different
that's
rules.
why I specified.
So it seems like they're getting into that same argument right now.
Federal.
Yes, I understand, but I'm moving back more towards like these broader conversations of like how we like try to unify these two bodies, right? And the answer is if you always will have something you prioritize just preferentially over corruption, I guess, yeah, then we're doomed. But I guess I would say if we care about like one of the fundamental things that made this country great, that has shifted over time, but is built on like certain liberal, not left, liberal values, like strong institutions, balance of power, ensuring that like the votes have integrity, that we have some level of like regulation and whatnot. If you value some of these things, if you value free speech, right, the miracle that is Western liberal democracy.
The point is, where am I? The point is that there shouldn't, and maybe this is a little too idealistic, fine, but the idea is that we shouldn't need them to compromise. They just need to understand the reality of what they're voting for. We know the activist class that is running this shit, but as we've seen with things like What is a Woman and Am I Racist, that most of these people are not, willing to die on these hills. They just think that's the right side of history. So it's not a matter of compromising. You're right. The people who are not going to compromise are not going to compromise. But the people who are not strongly in one camp or the other, they're just there because they think they're supposed to be. Those people are gettable. I was one of those people. There's an entire organization of Walk Away that is people who were liberal, voting liberal, preaching liberal. And then we're like, oh, wait a minute. I was wrong. You don't see a lot of that in the other direction. Why do you think that is? Because we have better answers.
And you have to prioritize probably some other things over other things. But definitely vote within your state against trans kids.
But the problem is there's a difference of opinion on what those definitions are to those terms that you're using. One side doesn't see it the same way. So how do you fix that?
I agree that we don't see it the same way, but here's one of the benefits of this latest kind of FCC pressuring of all these things is all of a sudden all the progressives that I was yelling at 3 years ago being like, actually, free speech matters even for people we disagree with, like conservatives. Now they're going, free speech, right? Now we're at this perfect type of position where a lot of the progressives, not just liberals, but progressives are actually sensitive to certain, there's progressives that are 2A, right? Like that's happening right now. We're in this poised position.
Yeah, but Marxists always have been. We invoke the actual wording of the Second Amendment shall not be infringed. What's the one that the Marxists use? I forget exactly what the phrase is, but it's slightly different. You know what I'm talking about?
That are 2A, right? Like that's happening right now. We're in this poised position where
they're
everyone's
the same way that
of fundamental rights getting removed.
There the fuck you go. There the fuck you go. People can change. People can learn. And this is why, despite the fact that there's updates going on with the war, that I don't think it is worth our time collectively for me to try to figure out what Ted Cruz is saying about this and the difference between Iran now and the regime change wars and blah, 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 blah. You can hear that everywhere from people who are more well-read on that stuff than I am. But none of that changes the fact that we need to get people on the entry ramp. The overwhelming majority of people don't know or care. If they do, we win. The people who want a Christian-esque, non-degenerate society are the majority. That already is the majority. The issue is how to get the votes from those people. Shout out to Manatron. Welcome. So the progressives have either shifted or always been Marxist. Seems that way. Welcome. It's crazy the government just keeps passing new laws and never gets rid of any. Do we really need more laws? I mean, in some cases, yes. But in general, no. We should definitely be repealing laws more than we are adding them. All right, dive in.
Poised position
they're
where everyone's
the same way that
of fundamental rights getting removed, and we're understanding why these rights mattered in the first place. And what we shouldn't do is go, well, the billionaires are winning, so I guess we're fucked. Like that can't be the answer.
No, I mean
that cannot be the answer. Agreed.
But why not?
Because
like, what's wrong?
Why not? Why can't we just cuck out? Says Tim Pool.
If honest question, let's say the billionaires take back control and they seize media, and then everybody has a homogenized worldview and everybody agrees almost on everything. It'll be like the 90s again. What's wrong with that?
What's wrong with the reduction of rights?
I didn't say reduction of rights.
Wait. Yeah, I need to hear that.
If honest question, let's say the billionaires take back control and they seize media, and then everybody has a homogenized worldview and everybody agrees almost on everything. It'll be like the 90s again. What's wrong?
Because everybody didn't agree. That's I didn't start paying attention to politics for another 15 years. And I'm not retarded enough to think that in the 90s, everybody just got along. Everybody just had all the same opinions. What? Can I get some Gen X up here telling me that is fucking retarded? I turned 10 at the end of 1999, so I don't know. Was it really like my childhood? Because, yeah, in childhood, we all agreed on politics, so to speak, in the sense that we didn't fucking talk about it. But adults, if you were an adult in the 90s, If you were voting age in the 90s, you just didn't have any opposition? You just all agreed?
Come on, man.
Well, my media said there are way too many laws. Show me the man, I'll show you the crime. Stalin. I mean, talk about icky. That's an icky quote. Mantron said the billionaires didn't have control during the 90s. What the fuck is this argument? Thank you. Dick said, show me a tropical fruit. I'll show you a cocksucker from Venezuela. Hey! So that is a much, much, much different thing to say. That the disagreements that we had in the 90s didn't bubble up in the way that they do now. And I would agree with that. I think there's an interesting conversation to be had about why that is the case. But to say that, in the 90s, when everybody agrees on almost everything, what are you talking about?
Dilly dilly. Dilly dilly. Dilly dilly. Dilly dilly. Dilly dilly. Dilly dilly.
Yep. And I mean, then a few years later, OJ, same shit. The fuck are you talking about, Tim?
And they seize media, and then everybody has a homogenized worldview, and everybody agrees almost on everything. It'll be like the 90s again.
There you go. So exactly. So similar to what Melody said. That's retarded. We didn't just hate each other because we disagreed. But there was still disagreement. Which tells us what? Which tells us what is the conclusion we're taking from that? What is the substance of this? The conclusion is that it is not a necessary condition of humanity that we are at each other's throats. That we are still reeling from the advent of the internet and social media. Evolution is a slow fucking thing, except with technology. It seems more likely that things would smooth out on a, let's say, a 20-year time period. That maybe over the next 5 years, things get worse. But over the next 20 years, we're in a better place, like in the 90s, where it was a better place, not almost agree on everything. I can see that happening. You know, the pendulum swings, shit gets crazy. It was crazy in the 70s. And, Times Square in the 90s. Definitely different, completely different situations. But to act like, that was then, before everybody agreed, and now people don't agree, so we're fucked. Sounds kind of black-pilled and doomer. Liberty said in Canada in the 90s, people were just arguing over if welfare should be $600 for the conservatives or $700 for the liberals. Everybody agreeing isn't always a good thing. Maybe never. And that's to Kyla's point earlier, that a functional democracy within a constitutional republic requires there to be a strong left and a strong right. It is a constant battle. There's no status quo that should be good. We want to be fighting because we are all fighting for ourselves, and we are all different. We are all individuals. Let's say 90% of the country agreed on the Bill of Rights being the best rules for the government. Yeah, I mean, I guess that. Problem is, the 10% got jobs and education and poisoned a generation. Yep. Avery, are you still here?
Worldview, and everybody agrees almost on everything. It'll be like the 90s again. What's wrong with that?
What's wrong with the reduction of rights?
I didn't say reduction of rights.
Well, the homogenized society that we're talking about in this unipolar system is less free speech, for example, because there's control of media.
Okay, let's just pause again, and I'll ask the question again. The billionaires fund their politicians who win. They take the media back over. They buy it all up. They put in personalities. The country homogenizes around a similar set of.
We can go for 30 minutes. I'm going to drop the link. If you want to come on up, come on up. The only rule is that you have to come up.
Worldviews with minor differences, where anyone can speak their mind and say whatever they want, whenever they want. What's wrong with it?
Let's back that up.
Per politician. Okay, let's just pause again, and I'll ask the question again. The billionaires fund their politicians who win. They take the media back over. They
Okay. A system that always puts half the country against the other half of the country is kind of shitty. Let's be honest. Agreed. A system where the entire country is against the ruler is more shitty. Again, we come back to the idea that there is such a world that is not shitty. Such is life, friend. Such is life. And this is the again, coming back to the nihilistic aspect of this, understanding that it's always going to be shitty, but that doesn't mean you don't try to make it as good as you can. Let's welcome our boy Avery. Welcome. Oh,
What's up?
How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I slept like the entire fucking day today, so.
Well, wake the fuck up. What do you think about all of this shit here? Obviously, everybody else is talking about the war, and I think this is an interesting conversation that we need to have.
What with Tim?
Yeah, like this whole thing of what do we do? Like things are bubbling up, and then.
I mean, I kind of see that it's fuck. I'm 50-50 on if people are gonna start shooting at each other or just let bygones be bygones. And you see the right or the left is already extremely violent, right? And we're so slowly starting to see the right start to say these things. Of course, it's only online. It's not actually out in public yet. So that's kind of scaring me a little bit as well. Other than that, Tim's a fucking dumbass.
Yep. It's sad because
yeah.
I think he didn't used to be this way. He used to have a much more level-headed perspective on this.
Yeah.
And when I'm not saying you are a nihilist, but if you understand what nihilism actually means, it's the acceptance of a lack of a utopia, at least in this context. Understanding that we're never going to get the world where, especially as a libertarian, you're never going to get the world that you're never going to be like, okay, yep, we did good job, guys. We did politics. That's not going to happen. And so, but taking the conclusion from that we either shouldn't do anything or we should trample all over our values to win, I don't think that those things follow. Yeah, 2017 Tim is wildly different.
Yeah, I started watching Tim 2020 during the George Floyd riots. That's when I became like super, super politically involved. 2016 woke me up, but 2020 really caused me to start paying attention to everything.
Yeah, I think,
and have a vested interest in it.
Yeah, same. I've told the story before about how I was in college when Obama was elected, and I was walking through the courtyard one night, and all these black people were celebrating. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And apparently, like I said, we ain't gotten our first black president. So that's how out of the loop I was. And then when Trump came onto the scene, I was like, all right, let's be smart about this. We'll watch CNN, MSNBC, and Fox News, so we get all the information. Stupid. And so, that obviously radicalized me against Trump and made me feel like I was a Bernie bro. But then, they fucked him over, and I felt stuck. And even still, I posted a video on it was before I was the Indian Jews, but I posted a video talking about, hey guys, you got to get out there and vote. And I just did it. I did my civic duty and blah, 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 blah. And so, that there's been a lot of change. And I'm not expecting everybody to go through that change, but I think enough people can.
I think enough people have now, but we still need more. A lot of people still just watch the news, and that's how they make up their opinion on things, which isn't a good way to do it anymore.
Yeah, and I mean, well, I think it was the like when Tim is saying like, oh, the '90s, most people agreed.
It's retarded.
That seems to be a media thing that like
what?
Everybody was either on CNN or with CNN or with Fox News, maybe. But that doesn't mean everybody agreed.
Yeah, in what world do the majority of people agree on the majority of things? Never. They just don't talk about it.
And so that means that we should just all cry. We should either cry or, as a joke, I'm saying, kill our political opponents. And that's it.
Well, I mean, right, I kind of take the anarchist viewpoint on this. I think we need a purge of our government. I really do. Of the vast majority of them, we do need to get out the career politicians. It shouldn't be a fucking career path at all.
Take a piss. So I'm going to give you the full screen.
Oh, yay.
I'm here though. Don't TOS me, bitch.
I'm not. I would never do that. But no, like I was saying, I think we do need a full governmental purge. Get out the career politicians. You know, if you take public office, you are a public servant, right? Meaning that you serve the public. So you shouldn't be allowed to own stocks. You shouldn't be allowed to have a vested interest in the economy. You are serving the public. It is a sacrifice that you have to make. But that's honestly how it's happening right now in Argentina. What's happening right now in Argentina? Occupy all the way up when he started screaming. Yeah. It's not how we end up with communists. It's not. I do not believe that's how you end up with fucking communists. That's stupid. People who serve the public. How do you get communism with that? I mean, the left already have the left already has the fucking has their version of brown coats. They're called Antifa.
Yep. So wait, what's that's how we end up with communists or brown coats? What did
I said? Fuck. What did I say? I said that we need
it's hard, right?
Hold on. Yeah, no, it is. I said that. You know, there needs to be term limits, and if you choose to take office, you are a public servant, meaning that you serve the public. You should not be able to own stocks or bonds. I think you shouldn't even be able to own a business at that point, because at that like you're putting yourself in a position where, oh, I could pass this law and, you know, put my business or my interest in a better position. It's you have a higher likelihood of being compromised. You know what I mean?
Yes. But I'm just kind of half thinking out loud, half devil's advocate, that we understand that politicians are going to, you know, they're going to do what they do. You know, we see Nancy Pelosi stock vote for all that shit.
Yeah, fuck that.
Is it better for, like, let's say we'll not even use a specific president. We have the next president, President Bob. President Bob has a company. Is it better for us to know that he is part of that company and he owns that company, or for him to, you know, put his brother or his cousin or his wife or his, you know, whoever as the head of that company and still do the same things that he's going to do, but now we don't have a direct reason to think that he's still connected to the company?
Well, I mean, the extremist point of view that I kind of have, it's you and your family. You can't at that point. You can't. I don't think you or your immediate family should be able to like partake in the stock market, own business, like own large businesses. Like if you own a local business, I'm not about to say, oh, blah blah. You know, you can't do that. That's, you know, I don't care about that. I'm talking about really big businesses, the ones that bring in hundreds of millions to billions a year. Those are the real problems. So especially if you're in office,
right? But the question is that saying that is not going to prevent politicians from profiting off of the businesses that they own. Even if they're not listed as the owner, then they could put somebody else as the head of that company. And now that's going to be more difficult for us as voters to understand how, you know, what they're doing is affecting their personal business. I'm just asking you, which would we prefer? That we know that President Bob is in this sector, or we can see that President Bob, before he was President Bob, had this company, but he sold off his company, and now he's doing a bunch of stuff that's helping his old company. But it's nothing wrong with that because he doesn't own that company.
I see your point,
and I mean I don't know. I don't know which.
I don't
either.
Know which is better. I don't know either. I mean, I also believe like you shouldn't have like I think lobbying should be completely illegal. You shouldn't have these major PACs. You shouldn't be able, the individual, like companies should not be able to donate to political parties. The max I believe an individual should be allowed to donate to a politician or anything like that should be 10 grand. That's it. Max. Done.
Yeah, I agree. I think like it's similar to the college prices thing, that it used to be a normal thing, normal cost, quote unquote. You know, you worked a regular full-time job, or I mean, even in the past, a part-time job, and you could pay for college. But then they said, okay, the government's going to pay for it, and so the schools are like, well, I mean, if the government's going to pay for it, let's fucking jack the prices up.
Yeah. Same thing with the medical field, man. It's the same fucking way.
So Meldermine Media said, even if he doesn't own the company, he will still use power to grow the business. He will eventually not be president and get the company back. It's tough. And so
it's a valid point.
And then, so I think that gets into, and I'm not claiming to have the answer. I'm just kind of playing it out. But it seems like the ideal situation is, because the other thing is that like a small to medium-sized business owner might have the skills to be a good politician. And so do we want to separate that completely? Maybe, but something to think about. Lumov said, I think term limits is a shit ideal. We already have term limits. It's called a vote. You don't need daddy government to save you from voting a 50-year career politician. You can stop yourself. I don't. So, what? No, what we're talking about.
If you don't like a person, he says vote him out.
Right, but
I believe we can
all. Yeah, I agree. But we can all understand that the process of voting someone out of office is very, very different than having a new election. And this is why incumbents typically win elections, because they're already incumbents. And so I'm not saying, no, don't vote out bad politicians, but I'm saying the voting out politicians is not a solution to term limits. Because let's say, let's say you're a 50-year career politician. Let's say they want to be president forever. If they're doing just good enough, then that's how we get kind of into a dictatorship, no? And there you go. People don't care enough. That's what we're doing here. That's what we're doing here. Of course, Box gets it. All right, if you get it, then explain it. Come on up. I dropped the link. Here, I'll drop it again. I'll drop it again. You bitches. You got 2 chances to vote someone out of office and give them term limits, primary and general election. And so what this is. So you're in favor of those being the limits of the term. There's a difference between a term limit in terms of how long and how many different terms. So maybe we're talking past each other.
I mean, I think the only position in government that you shouldn't have a term limit would be the Supreme Court.
Well, yeah.
Because you have to have a lot of fucking experience for that.
All right. Well, let me know if you're coming up, because otherwise you're gonna.
We need other people.
At the party. Like you said, what if the people want? What if the people want apolitical because they are good? Why would they be forced out? How is that democratic? Apollo. What if the people want a politician because they are good? Why would they be forced out? How is that democratic? So that's the entire point. People don't know what they want, and this is a check on the status quo. People prefer what they know over what they don't. That doesn't mean that's what's best for the country. And the founding fathers understood this, which is why we have this system. And we got Bugs in the building. Welcome.
To answer your question, Liberty, yes.
My microphone and I want to use my phone for my camera and my microphone for my microphone, but I can't do it, so my audio sucks. I've watched myself in playback, and my phone fucking sucks, and I'm sorry about that, guys.
It's fine.
Good to me.
I'm using a 6-year-old Chromebook, bro. It's all good.
Yeah, maybe on
I gotta
YouTube.
read it real close.
Sounds all right. So Liberty said, if Avery had his dream politician, does he really want them forced out, even if they're replaced with the opposite?
Yep, checks and balances, dude. It's literally it has to happen. It has to.
It's almost like it's a principle and not just a position. Well, if it helps me, then I want it, but if I don't, then I don't. We need principles. So, but
we need and sorry, much like you said earlier, how do I know if that other person coming in isn't going to do things differently that would also be good for the country? You know, it goes both ways.
You don't know what you don't know. You might think, oh my God, Obama is the best president that we could have. Oh wait, there's Trump. Wow, I didn't even know that could be a thing. So let's bring in Box. Any general comments about about Kyla, about the discussion, about any general stuff before we get into more specifics?
So I didn't listen to Kyla's arguments in general. I just thought that the idea of putting a leftist on Tim's show is appropriate. And like I said in the comments, like I would like to see any representation of a leftist that isn't just batshit crazy.
Yeah,
because I know they exist. I know they exist. It's not a unicorn. These are your neighbors. They're normal people. You talk to them on it. Well, I mean, you'll get some crazy people. Everyone, we all see the videos of crazy people, but the people we interact with on a daily basis are just the other side. And like, I don't know. We're coming up close on the midterms. Primaries are going to start happening. We're going to have to start like looking at candidates that are running and then judging them on what set of values. I don't know. Like we all have to come up with like what I do know right now is, you know, and I said it that, you know, the right is in charge right now. And there was some pushback and they're like, well, yeah, but you know, they'll fuck everything up. You know, the opposite side always messes everything up in the meantime. And it's like, yeah, well, that's what our government does. I was hoping the guardrails would hold Trump in, and it kind of is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so far,
who was president in 2020?
We're 1 year in. We're 1 year in. You know, so we got 3 more to go. So we'll see how this holds up.
But we're only here because the guardrails help.
Perilous. It's looking perilous, in my opinion. And the Democratic Party is completely vacant. There is no one. The lights are on, but no one is home at the DNC right now. That's what's going on. It is primed to be just taken over by people like me that don't want money in politics, would like to get money out of politics, foreign investments out of politics.
Yep.
You know, focus on jobs and houses. And I think that there's a lot of real, legitimate leftist arguments that could be made that were just thrown by the wayside in the wake of woke. And no one has picked them up since then. Real legitimate leftist arguments about things like the right of healthcare and how far police can go in people's activities and all these things that we need the left to actually perform on. And literally the lights are on, but no one is home. And it's terrifying to me because if you think about like how an autocratic takeover happens, it happens through apathy. Essentially, that's what appears. Like apathy drives this. Like one side just gives up and the other side just completely takes over. And without the other wing of the bird, without the other wing of the plane, we all do that turn thing that we don't want to do.
So then, what would you think of
right now?
What would you think of what Tim suggested in the beginning? He was saying that they would take somebody like a Tulsi Gabbard and have her, you know, like the Uniparty establishment would take a Tulsi Gabbard type and make her the Democratic. Just hold on. It doesn't have to be her, but like somebody like her who has appeal with the Trump base and but also has credibility with the left, whether or not you think that she personally does, but somebody like that, so that they can hold on. Sorry. So they want to I guess reset the political landscape and move back the Overton window. He was essentially saying like the Obama-McCain years, where
Yeah.
it's like the expected or acceptable.
That's a problem. That's a problem. The way you're framing
Bucks,
this.
please
is
let me
a problem.
finish, brother. Bucks, please let me finish. The Overton window going back to where it was, so that we can slice off the progressive leftist ideology as it is, as you're saying, and has been ruined by those activists. Don't you think that if that was the case, it would be easier for that Democrat to pick up the exact ideals that you're talking about, because they won't be connected to wokeness and crazy activists?
Yeah, the problem is that you're talking about like going back. No, I don't want to go back. I like the idea is like if it's not like it is now, then we have to go back to like it was then. I don't buy into that. I think that you framed the argument kind of wrong there. I would like to see us go into the future with a new set of ideas, a new set of beliefs. And yeah, we can shed and discard whatever we want. Either political side can do that, and we should. Humans do that, and it's appropriate to do that a lot of times. And the Dems are in desperate need of it right now. You know, to just be like, let's go look at
okay,
so like if the Dems came out tomorrow and said jobs and houses.
Right. Okay. So let me ask you a different question. Let me ask you a different question. So let's say that you have, we were talking about a blank slate before. So let's say you are, master of the political universe. We wipe the slate clean. What principles would you want to establish before we actually get into individual policies? What principles should be at the core of a constitutional republic that we want?
I mean, we're basically already there. We already have the Constitution. I'd like to work with that. I like America. I'm pro-capitalism, and I think the Constitution basically gets us more than halfway there. Because honestly, everything else that's happened after this has nothing to do with the Constitution. Everything since the Constitution was made, all these laws we've enacted and all this bullshit, it's just bullshit. It's all been bullshit.
Okay.
A fucking never-ending stream of bullshit that doesn't really have any connection to like the foundation of what we are here to do as a government or as like an experiment.
So what would that look like? Like what you said new and not going back.
Yeah. They're like you're like, oh, if it's not like this, then we'll go back to like that.
No. So I said a blank slate. I'm saying a blank slate, and you can insert whatever principles you want. So if you like newer principles, then you can use newer principles. But you said the Constitution.
Well, not principles. Principles. Principles can be the same, but like the ideas and the applications in our current time might be different. One way or another.
So what is the new thing? What's the new thing that you're appealing to?
Not taking Jews' money.
Okay, fair enough.
How about that? How about a baseline? We got like dual citizenship. Can we talk about dual citizenship?
Sure. Go for it.
I don't know.
I don't know though, but if you have dual citizenship though, can you vote in our election though? In another election, like that's
Sorry, No, what was the question?
But like, I don't know what the rules are regarding dual citizenship in the United States. But like, let's say you have citizenship in the United States in another country, are you then allowed to vote in both those elections?
I think it's like a state thing. Like you can do it in the state. I don't think there's any reason you can't not be voted in like a state government election. I don't know about like president. I know you can't do it if you're a president. Like there's a little bit more strict rules on being a president. But yeah, it seems to me that representatives in states like Ilhan Omar and all these other people, you're wondering how they got through. It's like, well, they can kind of do that because we let them, and that's fair.
All right. So I asked if you have a dual citizenship, can you vote in both countries? It depends on the laws of each country. It doesn't automatically give you the right, but in some cases you can if you meet each country's rules separately. And so you gotta be a citizen, all that stuff. Some countries allow, so a dual citizen from the U.S. and Canada can typically vote in both as long as they meet the registration.
Yeah, see, I think if you're a dual citizen and you have the United States citizenship, you should only vote in the United States, or the other one, take your pick.
Can Americans and Canadians vote in Israeli elections?
No.
Can American and Israeli?
Are you asking me? Or are you telling?
Yeah,
are you saying?
You have the AI up there. I don't use the AI. I wanted to see.
Okay, what are we asking?
Americans and Canadians vote in Israeli elections.
Canadians.
Like what kind of influence do we have? Do we have like the equivalent of a lobby
Israeli elections?
Israel?
Yeah.
Do we have a lobby in Israel? Is there like an American version of AIPAC going on in Israel right now?
Yes, a Canadian-Israel dual citizen can vote in Israeli elections, but only under specific conditions set by Israel. Voting rights are based on Israeli citizenship, not residency status alone. I was going to say before, real quick, though, that that does seem to be a thing where you have to reside in that country for a while, even if you're a citizen. But requires you to physically be present in the country on election day. There's no general absentee voting. Limited absentee voting is Jesus Christ. I thought exceptions were going to be you can't vote, but no, there are some other Canadian Israeli votes that you can do.
Is there an American version of AIPAC in Israel?
Is there is there a Canadian version
or American? American. I want to know about American.
Well, we have AIPAC. What do you mean?
Is there AIPAC is like the lobby for
what
America.
Is it AIP?
Lobby?
Right? Is that it? I always see it.
American version of AIPAC.
Is that wrong? AIPAC. AIP. Yeah. Right? Okay. Oh my goodness! They're all over North America.
No, guys, he doesn't even know.
You see, look, this is the problem. If you are going to vote, I think this should be the case for any country. If you're gonna vote in an election, you do it for fucking one. I don't, because the problem I see with this is people coming over here, getting dual citizenship, and then voting what their country wants in America. That I think is a security risk. Fuck that. No. Either you vote in an American election or you vote in your own country's election if you have dual citizenship. Fuck all that shit. Fuck that.
I agree. Is there an American lobby?
Okay, thank you for pulling that up, by the way, because I don't actually use AI. That's interesting to see what it says.
Copy and paste.
I literally just have my internal dialogue.
I had a real quick side quest though. Side quest. People, I saw someone getting mad about like the whole thing about some people talking about, oh, you can't imagine things in your mind's eye, and some dude was like, yo, that's some bullshit. If you think about an apple, there's no way you're seeing an apple in your head. And it's like, bro, I don't know what to tell you. It literally is. Wait, shut up. Yesterday, when I was rolling up, I put the thing of cones back on my dresser, and I have the chapstick sitting right there because sometimes I need chapstick, and then sometimes I use it for the thing. And I knocked it over, and so it's like I couldn't, I was looking over, I couldn't find where it was, and I was like, all right, I know I have a box, like a pack somewhere, and like I'm thinking about where did I put, and I literally can see the box in my head, and I'm trying to place it in my house. Did I see it in this bin? Did I see it over there? So yes, I definitely can fucking see it in my mind's eye.
It blows my mind that some people like can't do that, and then they don't have an internal monologue.
They don't have
that. Scares the shit out of me.
They don't have it.
How?
Yeah,
how do you think about things?
Right there, by the way.
That's wild. That's wild. All right, what did we say here? Is there an American lobby in the Israel government? There's no direct equivalent in Israel to a large formal American lobby like AIPAC. What exists instead, a general lobbying system in Israel. Domestic lobbying firms and blah, 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 blah. Foreign governments, including the U.S., do not operate official lobbying arms inside. Yeah, okay.
Weird. Weird.
See,
Weird.
I think a lot of our political
Like a normal
problems
country.
could be
Weird.
solved if we get rid of super PACs and don't allow companies to donate to politicians. I think that would solve a lot of our problems.
Okay, let's talk about that really quick. So the idea is that there's Citizens United. I don't think you're going to be able to overturn that court case ruling because it's a
What's going on with the
ruling.
Citizens United? I don't.
They made the right ruling for the case in front of them, but like the outcomes and the shit that came out of it, I think we can contain, right? Because we don't have to overturn their ruling. We don't have to do that, but we can contain what's happened after that kind of a situation. We can regulate the outcomes.
Can you elaborate on it a little bit? I'm unfamiliar with
it. Like a lot of leftists, I feel like a lot of leftists get hung up on like they just want Citizens United gone, and it's like that's a pipe dream. There's no way. You got like 40 years before this court is back in your ballpark, maybe, right? And we are not going to do this. But the idea that, like I say, it's also, like I say, I have a problem with this because it was also a correct ruling. Like they made the right ruling.
That's why you limited liberty.
You're allowed to write book. You're allowed to write a book before the election happens. And if it happens to sway the election, so be it. But the idea that means that you get to just dump all the money you want into a campaign, heavy air quotes on campaign for those not listening, is absurd. Absurd. And we need to fix that. And I think we can fix that without overturning Citizens United. And we should focus on that as the people, because I think that's one of those horseshoe issues where like the right don't like it, the left don't like it, none of us fucking like it, but we're all living with it.
Can you elaborate on what Citizens United is? I don't know anything about this shit.
So it was like a court case, basically, essentially, from what I understand, that it was. I'm not getting
Citizens United. The FEC is a landmark U.S. Supreme Court decision that changed how money can be spent in American elections. The core ruling, a court held that political spending is a form of protected speech under the First Amendment of the United States. Therefore, the government cannot limit independent political expenditures by corporations, unions, and nonprofits.
That's fucking gay.
Yeah, right.
This is the Supreme Court ruling. And
yep.
There was so many facets to come at this from. There's so many facets. It's hard to really keep going. I wanted to hear what AI had to say, but like I say, I struggled with where I should come in.
So independent expenditures mean money spent to support or oppose candidates and not coordinated with the candidate's campaign. What changed after the decision? This led to the rise of super PACs. It allowed corporations and unions to spend unlimited amounts on political ads as long as they're independent. It increased the role of money outside of election, increase the role of outside money in elections. But it did not allow corporations still cannot donate directly to candidates. They can donate to the super PAC, and campaign and outside groups are still not allowed to coordinate. They're not allowed.
It didn't actually tell us what the case was about. It seems to me, from what I remember about like what the actual case was about, was like they were writing a book and it was really close to the election time, and they're like, hey, can you write a book this salacious? It's like the same reason they suppressed the Biden laptop bullshit, the Hunter Biden laptop bullshit. It falls into like the same category. The difference is Hunter Biden wasn't making a book, and the other people were making a book, and they're like, can you do this? Could you influence this if you wanted to dump money into it? They're like, yeah, you could dump money into it. And then everything else flowed from it. Like you should look up like not the outcomes of the trial, but the actual like the what the case was based on, like the parties involved, like the litigant and whatnot, kind of a situation. I forget it right offhand myself, but it seems to me it was over some books that somebody printed really close to the election. And they're like, this could sway the election if we allowed it to be published.
Well, yeah. And so the ruling is just that because that's free speech, and because the corporations, unions, and nonprofits, at least in that context, are determined to be like
Yeah,
I don't know if persons is the right word.
It's not unrestricted.
I don't know if persons is the right word, but essentially that you get the same rights as an individual in that context. And so in the same way you can't tell a person how to spend their money in politics, then corporation is the same, except can't be direct and in line with their campaign. But as Liberty said, donation caps don't apply to money that they don't know about.
The fact that everyone has wanted this
and that should be illegal when they find out they should get punished.
Is kind of a tell.
Yep. What is David saying? Make a case that PACs are a good thing because that seems crazy to me. Like you said, PACs are good because they're transparent. The issue is the amount of power a politician has. But you just said donation caps don't apply to money they don't know about. So
yeah,
maybe
there is something to be said about transparency.
Maybe the PAC is transparent, but what about the money outside of that? So when you sell guns, there's $400 billion to make by starting a war. True. But yeah, do you guys are you guys in general, are super PACs a good thing?
Super PACs are icky as fuck.
No, not at all. No.
It seems like it takes
the influence away from the voter.
Yeah, it seems like a way to get around the limitations of the law. Yeah, and get around the will of the people. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll give Liberty a chance to see if he can knock down or not.
Yeah, but Liberty, you said like when you sell guns and there's $400 billion to make by starting a war, makes it worth breaking the law to achieve. Okay, so then why don't we jail the motherfucking people in charge of those companies? Is it worth breaking the law to achieve if they're going to rot in prison? No, it's not.
Yeah, we never go after the companies. We always go after the fucking people.
Well, and I mean, right.
Exactly.
Right, but the connective tissue being that these corporations get power through the super PACs. And so they don't get those punishments because they scratch the politicians back. So the politicians...
we all see it, and we're incapable of changing it. That's the problem. We all see it. Left, right, center, we all see it. And we're incapable of changing it. That's the fundamental problem.
Okay, so Liberty says they're bad. I'm just saying the real issue is politicians what? Politicians jail the politicians because it's come on, guys. How fucking like
I'm better at speaking than I am at typing, and I'm bad at speaking.
Apparently all of you are. I don't know how difficult this is.
But Liberty, you want to know how we get rid of people being corrupt pieces of shit? The way I said earlier. You get rid. They can't hold stocks. They can't hold bonds. They can't. I see that as the only viable option to this, because that's going to influence good people to actually go in there and serve the public and actually do the public good. I know it's a very idealistic approach, but
actually, I feel like
if you end up a pedophile, you can't use phones or computers. But if you end up doing
hold on, wait,
financial fraud, you can still participate in the markets.
Yeah, that's insane.
But hold on, Avery. I feel like the notion of like if your end goal is getting people who care more about society to be in office, then an issue that we have with politics in general is the fact that people go in just for the power.
Yeah. I mean, so I don't think it's just the power. I think it's the money too. I think the money's the big.
The money that comes, but that money comes from the fact that they can't have their businesses. So if you're a business owner and you want to, and you're a good person who cares about, understands this is the community, understands that, and you want to go into politics, now you have to sell your business in order to get in. So I think that would
sacrifice to serve the public.
And agreed, but I'm saying I don't think the people that we want box. I agree with you, but I'm saying I don't think the people that we want to make that sacrifice would make that. I wouldn't make that sacrifice. If I mean,
but then they don't care about their country enough. I don't. That's my viewpoint on it. I mean,
but so running. But so okay. Do I have to? When do I have to sell my business? When I win or when I start running?
I would say when you win. I would say whenever you take office, it needs to be sold before then.
I just like
and you need to have zero influence in that. You know what I mean? 10%. How about 5? How about 5%?
What if it was all butterflies and rainbows?
Meet in the middle and call it 7.5.
This is unfortunately, Liberty. I feel like this is where a discussion with a libertarian always circles down to. Like, yeah, that would be great, but we don't live in that world.
So we can turn it into that world.
Yeah.
You would need to sell your company. There wouldn't be any conflict if the state didn't regulate every inch of industry. Okay, true, but they do. So again, you wouldn't need to eat if you just had a magic pill that you took once and you never got hungry. But we don't. David said that money comes from selling their power to have contracts and legislation go in their favor.
And that should be illegal.
Yeah, and I think that's a direct incentive of the structure that we have. I'm not saying that, it hinges upon whether or not you can have a business. But I'm saying that aspect of, okay, I have to trade my money for power. I don't know. I mean, we've seen that, love him or hate him, that Trump has, as somebody who already had a lot of money, it's not necessarily a bad thing for the country that you are a leader who is rich. And it seems like the fact that he wasn't dependent on other people was a huge factor in him being able to be more consistent in his messaging. We don't have to take
that's a valid point.
Let me just say the idea that a bit less authority is a utopia. That's not what I said. It's such a defeatist attitude. Getting rid of all the money in politics is way more impossible. Neither of those things I said. But you're just getting into, well, if this, but we're not in the if. So I'm asking your opinion based on the world that we have, not the world that you want.
Yeah, the real world is like why I'm not a Democrat no more. Like the real world lined up with like my ideals and everything fell apart. And then like, I was just like, oh, I'm going to go be an independent because all you guys are fucking wrong. Y'all fucking wrong. Both sides, y'all fucking wrong, dude. You ever seen a right-wing authoritarian government? I don't want that. I want a left-wing authoritarian government. I don't want none of that shit. I want none
I just want the government to leave people the fuck alone and let them live their lives.
Leave me the fuck alone. The best we can. Come on, man.
But having no profit.
Independence over like a 2 cent or a 2% fucking tax on fucking tea.
Yeah.
And this is what we've devolved into. Give me a fucking break.
I don't even think it was 2%. I think it was less than a 1% tax, and they went crazy.
Somebody at some point. Give me a fucking break. Civil wars are common. They're not uncommon.
Okay, fine, Liberty. I take it back. But then can we still just have the conversation based on the world that we live in and not the world that you want? We go from jailing politics. Like, oh, great, I'm down with jailing politicians that that are corrupt. But if we're talking about realistic moves, then there's a difference between the end game of where we want to end up versus what we can actually do to get there. Shout out to the Confluence people. Welcome. We are winding down a little bit, but don't always keep the party raging. Sorry, Box. You were saying
no, you should always talk shit about shit that you don't agree with. It should always be the case that you're just allowed to do that, and we do that. Like, it's totally important. Like, there's like let them rip, dude. Let them rip.
Yeah, but I don't think I don't think a lot of people here would be.
There's the other side of tactics. Like, how do we actually achieve what the best for the most in a utilitarian sense, right? How do we achieve this? Like, what do you want? What do you really want? If you sat down tonight and everyone wrote down what they really wanted, you know, and how we could do it.
I think the left and the right, I think they're both very good at focusing attention to these small problems and not the bigger problems, like what we're talking about. I think, you know, like the right's always, what's a really good example of this? Trans, you know, not allowing trans people in fucking bathrooms and all this other shit and this, that, and the other, right? So the right fixates on that. The left fixates on all the LGBTQ bullshit. When the real problems is shit like what we're talking about. That would, I believe, would effectively solve those problems.
Right, but that gets back into a more, I guess, meta conversation about the fact that there's not enough people paying attention to politics. And so the first step is to get people to understand, oh, I need to care about this. I need to pay attention to this. I need to learn what this means. I can't just go based on, you know, what I heard on TikTok.
It's also like the whole premise of the show was like the lefty that was on Tim Pool, that girl, you know, and it's like, yeah, we need more people, like I say, that are just super crazy that take up these old school leftist positions. They're important. They're important to our society. I believe this in my core.
Turn up. Dilly fucking dilly. Well, I was gonna try to pretend that maybe you guys would forget, but I still have push-ups to do.
Oh,
so before I let you guys go, I'll give you the floor. Tell the people, who are you? What do you do? What do you want them to know? We'll go to Avery first. The floor, sir, is yours.
I'm Avery. I just jump on panels and voice my opinions and views.
Based. All right, and Box, this is your moment. Tell the people what they need to know about the left and how it can be better.
The left is, like I say, it's totally vacant. The whole DNC, the lights are on at the DNC and no one's home. It's ready to just be taken up by patriots. And for some reason, no one's just moving in. It's a tragedy, in my opinion. And all that aside, like the idea that Tim Pool lets a leftist on, as long as they're not batshit crazy, I'm all for it. Leftists are your neighbors. We're not all batshit crazy. I love you guys.
Dilly fucking dilly. Thank you so very, very much for hanging out. I will see you around. Oh, I don't want to do push-ups, but we got to give a big shout out. Well, first shout out to Avery and Box for joining me, adding to the conversation. DJ's all about it. Dilly, dilly, gentlemen. Dilly fucking dilly. So I think, at the end of the day, this is why I was very happy to cover this, because it gets difficult to bring things down to a street level, like an individual level. Everything that we talk about comes back to the fact that not enough people know that they actually do care about politics. They think that they don't care because they don't know what it is. In the same way that, pick your favorite video game or your favorite show or your favorite anime. I don't care about video games. I don't care about fucking anime. But I don't know what I'm missing. And I'm totally fine with that. If there was somebody who could show me exactly why I need to care about that, guess what would happen? I would start caring about it. And that is the same thing with politics. We gotta get people in the conversation. Otherwise, it's just us fucking circle jerk. It ain't doing shit. Oh my goodness. Shout out to David. Getting rid of over 100 because more push-ups. More push-ups. What else could I want? Thank you, thank you, thank you. Are you full? Are you done? Wait, let's see. Is he gonna eat it? Yeah, I knew he was gonna eat it. I knew he was gonna eat it. Yeah, man. I mean, you guys are real people. I'm not like talking to nobody, obviously. But in terms of having an effect on how the country works, we got to get moving. We got to get moving. And so shout out to all of you guys for being here. It's a matter of step by step by step by step. We've been going for years now. And most channels by this time, I don't know that you're not AI. I have no idea who any of the fuck of you are. If I have not seen your face while you are talking to me with your mouth, I don't know you. I have no idea if you are real, if you're a bot, if you're a trans. I don't know. But I don't really care. As long as you're here with the interest of, hey, I want this country to be better. Even if you don't agree with the way that I think we should make America better, or the world better, even if you don't agree with that, you're still in the right place. Because as Hindu Trump would say, we are all here together. And we all need to make it work. Yeah, I know. AI is getting crazy. I am not looking forward to how that starts coming into the political world. But big thank you guys. I really do appreciate every single moment that you're here. I know that there's probably 10 other people that are live right now. There's people talking about more relevant stuff. There's smarter people. There's everything out there. If you didn't know, now you know. But we're doing something real here, and I really do appreciate that you guys are here, that you guys show up, that especially if you're signing up as members, you're sending the donations, you're coming up to add to the conversation. That stuff really, really matters. And I can't thank you enough. So let's give a big shout out to all the donations, and it's time for push-ups. Shout out to David, who started us off before the stream even started. 7:58. I got the timestamp. 7:58. And we had TV Viewerski with the PayPal. We had a Rule OV2 with the gifted memberships. And then, of course, our boy Bug Master General, our sponsor, as always. We got Bugsy Boy Bugs and Avery. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We had Real Black Betty, and again, asking about feet and getting us over 100. So where does that leave us? We are 97 plus 5 is 102. Oh, Jesus. That's 51 push-ups, guys. That's 51 push-ups. I am not excited, but oh man, I mean, hey, as you know, I am a man of my word. So let's fucking do it. Let's fucking do it. I don't think, can I put this on repeat? Because I don't think I'm gonna be able to make it in one go. Oh, come on. Hold on. There we go. I guess not. All right. So, can you tell I'm scared? Can you tell I'm scared? I don't like this. I don't like it. I don't fucking like it. I don't got to worry about any birdies. So here we go. Thank you. Let's do this. Now pay your fucking selves. Push-ups, bro. You gotta do push-ups. I'm wearing shorts under my. All right. Woo. Stretch.
Shadows gather where the truth wants to watches with an Nazi eclair. Guardian of reason in a world unaware. When the overlord stalls at the edge of the frame, the faithful rise up, they already know his name. I'm here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Come to wake the sleeping, the church will bring the faith. Illusions, no hollow and compare. He's here to resurrect the second coming of common sense.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30.
He stands in the fall of a world misled. Thinking true from the wreckage, raising thought from the dead. Every word is a weapon. Shaman declare, exposing every shadow we pretend not to fear. The overlord marches with the suffering command. A beast of judgment, the mortal chemist man. His power is through the sun.
Let's fucking go. I ain't no bitch. I ain't no bitch. Let's fucking go. We got it. We got it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. That's 52, baby. Let's whoa. Fucking go. I'm all drunk. God damn. God damn. Oh, I appreciate you guys. Oh, I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so very, very much. We're gonna get that song working. We're gonna get that song working. We got Young Christian at the last minute. What is going on? You just missed the Swole Stream push-ups. I'm about to make some food. I don't know. What should I eat? I'm thinking a nice juicy burger might do the thing. I don't know. But don't forget, guys, if you are a member, go through to the after party. If you are there, I am there. If you are there, I am there. But if not, I'm just going to go do some other shit. But guys, thank you so very much for hanging out. Again, I know you could be doing anything else in the world. And the fact that you are here hanging out, burger does sound good, right? The fact that you guys are here, the fact that you guys are part of the conversation, and you could be doing anything else in the world, that means so much to me. And the fact that some of you are actually opening up your wallets and donating to the cause, thank you so very, very much. Again, this is not just a show. This is not just me dancing around, trying to be entertaining to make a buck. This is me building a coalition. Everything that we know is bad about politics and religion and culture. All of that stuff can be fixed. Tim Pool might not agree, but Tim Pool's been wrong before. So I don't think we got any newbies, but if you are new, definitely hit that subscribe. I'm live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, and sometimes whenever I feel like it. So YouTube sucks with those notifications, so you may as well hit the bell so you never miss an Indian Jesus live party ever again. Guys, thank you so very, very much. Until next time, once again, that is Morty, and he's going to be bothering me for the next 4 days to scoop out the rest of this shit. And there's a decent amount in there. So I'm going to have to take one of his bones, scoop it up, and then put it around the side where he can get it for the next however many days that lasts. So he will very much enjoy that. I very much have enjoyed hanging out with you guys. Once again, the Overlord Morty and I have been your host, Lech, a.k.a. the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Until next time, guys, we are out of here. Peace.